welcome to another episode of No Neutral. Welcome to another week of Capcom Pro Tour action. I am Big Hollywood Rock TV, and I am joined by my esteemed co-host, my brother, my partner in crime, the top influencer in the game today. Facts. Brian Neff. What's going on, Brian?
Ooh, all the honorifics. I am doing well. I'm doing great because we had a fantastic top 16, top 8, and we have another beefy one coming up ahead. But before we get into all that Street Fighter action, we've got to, of course, give a big shout outs to all our fans and supporters in Japan and Capcom Fighters Japan for bringing No Neutral to the Japanese audience. Thanks for tuning in week after week and supporting the show. Now, with that out of the way, we got to talk about CPT for Europe West, because I was really pleasantly surprised. I mean, both surprised and not surprised, right? We got our our honorable mention, our pick to kind of go far, and it did happen because you know what, we have our ear to the streets. But also, I think we have our ear to the streets because the rest of the results really lined up with a lot of the new faces, the new people representing the talent in this region. And I want to give a big shout out to one of the two people in grand finals, Mr. Wolf.
Come on.
I have loved Mr. Wolf's progression over the past year or so with his Seth, because Seth released, it was a character we saw a lot of. But since, a couple of adjustments, and by a couple, I mean like a laundry list, like a, full 3 pages of adjustments over the past couple years.
Shout out to those adjustments.
To Seth has become a much more interesting character, I would say. Isn't that interesting? How he makes some adjustments and the character is not seen as much and suddenly become very interesting. And Mr. Wolf has really represented all the nuance and all the subtleties of this character. And it was cool to see because I felt like I started seeing Mr. Wolf pop up not just on the competitive scene, but on Twitter with all these highlights here and there, and showing how Seth does all these creative extensions and combos. And then slowly the results started turning, matching that creativity in play as well. And then here we have him in grand finals of CPT Europe West, going up against the other creative mastermind of Street Fighter V, Takamura.
Takamura is the most creative player in the world, in my opinion. Honestly, at this point, I don't really think it can be debated. He was the favorite to win this tournament.
Yeah, he's consistently been winning in this region, and we've seen people challenge him here and there. And in the World Warrior events, it's not like he's been winning all of those consistently. He's actually had a little bit of a slump, actually,
surprisingly,
if you look at some of the results, right? So that's why we were talking about in the pre-show for the event, we're talking about players like MDZ Jimmy and Momi and other players like that who have been really having really strong results, including Ryan Hart, who's been very consistent in the World Warrior events.
Disappointed me, man.
But this event, looks like for Takamura, it was a return to form. But for not Germany and Belgium, but for Europe West, like their World Warrior region, we saw the familiar faces, right? We saw the Mr. Wolf, the Geeko, Fasa, who's always consistently getting those results. So I feel like we saw from
Garnett
mostly,
made top 8, of course.
Garnett made top 8. Yeah. MDC Jimmy was there in top 8, but he, I think he was shut down on the loser side to Geeko, right?
he was up 2-0. Jimmy was up 2-0. Bro, you using Ryu. You know how much we want to see Ryu win. And he played God, making that top 8. So that just goes to show how strong Geeko is. But, outside of just those players, like I said, we got to reference a little bit. My man's Ryan Hart, of course, the odd-arm slayer at EVO, alongside Kawano. But Ryan, actually, he lost early on. He had took a loss to Dedomi in pools. That was surprising. And then at that point, it's like, all right, he's gonna come back and make it in top 8. But he actually lost 2-0 to Snowby in top 16 losers round 1. But of course that happens, man. I mean, we remember CPT Midwest number 2, Brian. You know what I mean? We remember.
Hey, man, I lost to some good players, man.
Yeah, you got smoke. I got smoke too. I got 7th place. I think you went. Then
must
you go
be nice.
Then you go.
Must be nice.
Then you go 0-2 or something. What happened?
It was. There's a few more victories underneath. I might as well, right? I mean, I might as well.
That must be nice against 7th. It's CPT, but yeah, man. Something else as far as this region overall, the way that this CPT played out, and especially their top 8. 6 out of the 10 top 8 matches were 3-2. Do you know how insane that is? 6 sets in top 8 or 3-2. That just goes to show how tightly contested all of this is, man. But Takamura, at this point, he does stand atop the region. It's just insanely creative. And I want to make sure that one last thing I bring up with that as far as Takamura is the fact that he's using Akuma in these situations. We don't see Akuma anymore, which
we don't.
Throwback Rob TV and Throwback Brian is looking into the future and can't imagine that sentence being said. Like, we don't see Akuma anymore. The one of the most popular characters as far as lore, as far as IP, and of course always extremely overpowered. The OP in the IP
in the
game,
lore,
like,
in the lore, and the story.
In the lore, he's OP. Yeah, he's never
right. Really inspires players to pick him
always
up.
Been balanced in game. Yeah. But yeah, so it's just really good, dope, man. It goes to show just how far this guy's creativity is and how he's.
I think there's always like a big emotional attachment to the players who really stick with and invest in their characters and take them to new heights that people haven't seen before. There's always like a feel-good kind of story behind that. Is it a little unusual that it's Akuma in this case? Kinda. I mean, we kind of saw that with Akuma even in Street Fighter 4 towards the end. He wasn't as popular as he was in the beginning or the earlier years in Street Fighter 4, but then Tokido was one of the consistent representatives with Akuma, so people really gravitated towards that and felt an attachment there. But there's something about Akuma and Takamura that just feels right, even though Takamura also has an amazing Ken. I love his Ken, and he does bring that out here and there, and he's also dabbled with Luke. But that Akuma just has so many different options, so many different tools, none of them that like outlandish on their own, but they all have a time and place, and Takamura just finds a way to show you a new time and take you to a new place every time, right? You just see options you didn't expect every time he's behind the wheel of his character. So to see him buckle down, stick through it, and get the results he actually earned and deserves after years and years of being that guy in Europe West. Yeah. It's awesome to see Takamura has once again punched his ticket into Capcom Cup. So congratulations, Takamura. We will see you in Capcom Cup.
And speaking of Takamura, we do know that he is on Team Wild Blast. Team Wild Blast, of course, so it's Team Wild Blast going up against BMS. And the matches, Wild Blast got absolutely obliterated in Week 3 going up against BMS. You had Takamura going head-to-head with Kills You. Honestly, on paper, I don't know who people would have had winning that match. Some people might have said Takamura. To me, I think that's actually an even 50-50. At least your quick opinion on that, Brian. Would you say that's a 50-50
quick opinion? I would put Kills You as a favorite. I think Kills You is massively underrated on the world stage. Strong. So I think he got 9th place at Evo. Should have beat Daigo. Could have, should have, would have beat Daigo to get that winner's side top 8 spot. I think Kills You is one of the best new talents. I would honestly, in my theory crafting, I haven't seen them play each other. I would put Kills You as a slight favorite. So that doesn't surprise me, but it was a great set to see.
Takamura ends up losing that against Kills You. And then we had Vega Patch going up against TKR. That one, I probably would have leaned Vega Patch, not because of player skill, though. I think that's another one where I can see it either way. I feel like Fang does well against Chun-Li in that matchup, but TKR did not get the memo as far as that, as he won 2-0. And I thought it was really dope that he showed the personality. My man does the salt-based celebration after he won.
Listen, TKR is not afraid. He's not afraid to rub it in. Like, he's there to do work and make you feel salty about it. He's not been shy about that for all the years I've seen him in Street Fighter V, man. When he is on, he is on, and he's there to let you know that they're there to do work. Popping off for himself and his fellow countrymen.
And, man, a player that don't do too much popping off, you know what I'm saying? Unless he's giving you a firm handshake and not letting go, you know what I'm saying? Outside of that, my man doesn't really need to pop off. He does all of it in game. And that is none other than Mr. Crimson. At this point, what you gonna say to the kid, man? You know what I'm saying? Smooth, fresh, and body and stuff in game. In this match, he went head to head with Momi, a player who has been playing phenomenally as of late. But going up against Mr. Crimson is a tough thing. And my man, this is the captain spot or the anchor spot. So it's a first to 3. Brian, do you know that the score? You saw it. It was 3-0. But was it just 3-0? No, I'm sorry. It was 6-0 every single round. I don't care if you can try to play random, you can try to wild. There is nothing you could do solid. There was nothing that Momi could do, and that's someone who is a long tenured player, even back in the Street Fighter 4 days all the way to now. Just goes to show just how strong my man Mr. Crimson is. At this point, what are we really saying, man? He's got to be the most unstoppable player. When you look at this, and when you look at the fact that he did play Problem X last week as well, which is probably that's the marquee matchup.
But that said, there was another team battle this episode for Street Fighter League Europe, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit disappointed with how it went, because I was talking up a lot this team, Reason Gaming, who had a very good first showing up against Team Go. This is like the other UK squad, right? These are the players that those in the know have heard about, but maybe they're not as familiar with those at home who don't watch every single event all over the world, right? They had a great showing against Team Go, but this time they went up against the counterparts. I don't want to put them down too much, but this really did feel like if you had to pick a team from UK, you have the A team and the B team. And I wanted the B team so bad to
the story
to prove
is so nice.
that they were that level, and they've done it in the past. They've all taken tournament sets off the players on Team Mouse. They've done it in high stakes situations, or they push them to their limits in CPT World Warrior events, Salt Mine Leagues, you name it. These guys have been there and they have proven themselves to be a competition. But Mouse Gaming takes it 3-0 over Reason Gaming. They put up 4 fills, they put up Shax, they put up Problem X, and they secured victories over MQS Soundboy and One Step Layered in kind of boring fashion. Honestly, I was a little bit disappointed because especially Problem X, One Step Layered, we've seen how far One Step Layered has pushed Problem X in the past in CPT events, but I guess when it was just this time at this going, it just wasn't there. But man, I just feel like maybe they need another go at it. I believe the teams will have a run back at some point in the season. Maybe this time it'll be a little bit closer, but for now, unfortunately, the names that you might know them for a reason.
Yep. They earned their spots. And I think the same thing can be said about all of these dope players that we have in the United States Street Fighter League. We had your team, Brian, CLG, going head to head with Nasser Bandits. Ooh. And I tell you what, I feel like Chris is one of the players. I'm going to kind of cheat with my answer as to who's unstoppable right now for US Street Fighter League, because it's 2 answers to it. The other one, spoiler alert, is Angry Bird, and their teams went head to head here. Look, bro, we had Samurai going head to head with Big Bird. My man held the L. And then I was extremely excited to see Filipino Man versus Kaba. Kaba does have a lot of experience in that matchup because Louis Man plays Rose.
Yeah.
Of course, so they have a lot of experience in that matchup.
Yeah, who's doing this scheduling here? CLG has to go against Endemic and then Nasser Bandits back to back. Wait a minute. That explains what's going on here. I think CLG, they're a little exhausted. They need a break. We're getting the heavy hitters back to back because, you're right. Samurai and Filipino Man do go down first, so it comes down to the anchor position. And of course,
come on,
we throw up the heavy hitter. It's Chris CCH going up against Angry Bird, and that match was where we should have ended it. It should have been just that one set, and then called it a night.
Yo, no matter which one of these guys that I put my money on, this is a clash of titans. And honestly, even though Chris CCH, we have to put in I suppose you have to put him in the new star category, but he is exactly that. Like, he's made the all-star team for the league this year, hypothetically. When it comes to all the Street Fighter, CPT, World Warrior, the man is calling his shots there. He's dominating, and here it was no different as he won 3-0 after, with all the pressure, he put the team on his back, though. Come on, the grit, the determination.
It was a dominating
the power
performance.
of friendship. Look, honestly, at this point, there's only one thing that Chris CCH can improve at and that CLG can improve at, and that's popping off. That's it. That's the only thing y'all trash at, bro.
I think Chris brings the energy a little bit to that.
It's bad.
To a degree.
Bad. It's awkward.
Okay.
Hey, Chris, it's awkward, bro.
But at least he has it. At least he has it. See, Chris is just not refined in the pop-off art yet, but the energy is there.
Yeah, you're right.
You can tell it's young energy. Like it's definitely there. So at least I respect the raw energy he brings. And yeah, I mean, that was no one could have called that, right? I mean, like in the back of your mind, you're like, Chris could win this for sure, but you're not going to say Chris is going to 3-0 Angry Bird, who is one of Street Fighter V all-time GOATs, right? Like, he has been so consistent, but after that 3-0, that only ties up the team battle, which is why I said we should have ended the night right then and there. So it's time for the sudden death, the tiebreaker, the first to one, and Angry Bird, He was angry. He said, put me back on the sticks. And of course, CLG sends up Chris at that point. And that's when I was thinking, imagine you're playing a 1st to 5 with a world-class player. You're playing Battle Lounge. If you win 3 games in a row, are you more confident that you're about to win the 4th or less?
More confident.
I'm less confident. I think you give a world-class player it's like flipping a coin heads and landing
4 times in a row.
3 times in a row. You got heads 3 times in a row. Are you going to get it on the 4th? It's a 1st to 1. You give a world-class player a full 1st to 3 to start downloading you, and you haven't seen counterplay yet because your level 1 strategy has been working. I would think get somebody else in there. I understand Chris is the best base level pick for that match, but I was concerned. I was like, man, you've given him 3 full games of data. Now he needs to flip the script for 1 match, and you have no time to counterplay. So I was super concerned going into that match, and man, Angry Bird said, I know what to do. And he closed that one out in dominant fashion, that 1st to 1.
And, also on this episode of Street Fighter League US, we had Team Endemic going head-to-head with Panda. The dude actually got his first victory up against Nephew.
Classic dude.
It was dominant. It was
classic dude.
Newt. Like, come on, bro. You're not about to get in. And then I love this. I like you even say the classic, vintage Knuckle dude.
Seeing Dew on Guile and just get this momentum rolling, and once it started, it didn't stop. That steamroll offensive Guile style that that's his signature style. I think Kaba kind of follows a similar school of thought from that Guile playstyle to a degree, but Knuckle Dew was the originator of that in my view in Street Fighter 4 and then bring it to Street Fighter 5. So I was just, it was just beautiful to see Knuckle Dew in prime form for that match.
Outside of the Fields thing, a player that we've seen him in Fields before, but usually it's him feeling good for being disrespectful, teabagging, and popping off on everybody. And I tell you what, I love to see it, and that is none other than Punk the God. We did get Punk versus Adam, part number 75.674 million, and it lived up to the hype. In this one,
I love this show. I love the reruns. It never gets old.
It's so good. It's like Tokido Daigo. Imagine thinking I'm tired. No, please run that tomorrow. So in this Adam versus Punk match, I'm gonna keep it a bean, a thou wow with y'all. I thought Adam was about to beat his ass, man. I thought Adam was about to, understandably so. It's Adam. Look how great he's playing.
It turned around. It really turned around.
He bust that Luke out, man. He said, "Oh, okay.
I'll show you spot. You're in a tight spot in Street Fighter 5. What do? You bust out the Luke.
You go Luke.
We saw it against Meta RD when he said, I'm in a tight spot. Time to bust out the Luke.
Yeah.
Up against Idom, the other Capcom Cup champion. Oh, no problem. Bust out the Luke.
And he saw, look, to be fair, I think that outside of just, the fact that Luke is a pretty popular and cool character, it's also the fact that he saw Chris CCH doing well against Adam, whether it be the exhibition at Evo or even at Street Fighter League just a couple of weeks back, the way that he did up against Adam. So I think that's a matchup, that's a character matchup that seems to give Adam and a few other players a little bit of troubles for some reason. But I definitely think that Punk, I know at this point, we saw what happened. Punk made the right damn choice.
Oh, yeah.
He goes and wins he won the next 2. And then Adam brought it back. It comes down to the last game. Punk is talking trash the whole time, bro. He's talking trash. He's smiling. He's turning around, talking to JB and
you can see
nephew.
him settle into that comfortable. When he
when you get in that vibe,
he was looking timid and unsure, and then you consistently see it with Punk when he starts getting relaxed and starts talking and having a good time. You're like, no. If you're his opponent, you're like, no, go back to being scared and nervous for me. Stop having fun. Stop relaxing, because that's when he's unstoppable, right? It's the final round, the final moment. If Idom was in the lead up until that moment in the final game, Punk gets that lucky break, that one lucky break, and he's like, you're done. I have the confidence, the momentum. You dropped, you cracked first. He ran that momentum into an excellent offensive sequence, found that jump angle in the corner. He managed to get Poison's anti-air to not work. The momentum was just, that was it. That was the psychological break, the in-game momentum, and he closed it out in dominant fashion for the last 15-20 seconds of a very close back and forth set. And man, it was just amazing to see the level of Street Fighter these guys continuously put out.
And, you know, we talk about amazing levels of Street Fighter. That's exactly what we have in front of us today, Brian. I mean, I could just drop a tear, to be quite honest with you. I mean, why are we so lucky? Why do we get to watch CPT Middle East Top 16? But you know what? You don't look a gift horse in the mouth. But let's look at what we have coming up. Of course, we know the Clash of the Titans, bro. You know what I'm saying? Angry Bird, Big Bird. The two legendary players. You're right. Angry Bird, one of the GOATs of Street Fighter V. That's actually facts. One of the GOATs.
I was wondering what debate you're trying to bring up.
No, you're right. I'm wilding. I'm tripping. I just immediately think like Tokido, Punk, you know what I mean? But there's you're definitely right on that. But what I want to breach today, the meat of the topic is I want to talk about who is better out of Angry Bird and Big Bird. You know, they can't say it. Angry Bird can't talk about this. Big Bird can't talk about this. Oh, we're brothers. Oh, you know, hug. I'm so happy when my friend wins and so on and so forth. Well, that's fine. I understand that. But Brian, me and you can talk about it. I think that I want to hear your opinion first.
All right.
Who's better?
This is almost like the to me like the Capcom Cup versus Evo conversation. You know what I mean? It depends on what you value. And funny enough, I feel like their two biggest performances are both Capcom Cup and Evo, right? You know, we have Big Bird with the Evo 2019 second place, and then Angry Bird, I believe, it was a 5th place performance, like one of his breakout, really 2018 Capcom Cup, when it was like, oh, this dude is not just like a good player. He's great. He's great, like world class, because that year is when we first started seeing him really travel and starting to do well in tournaments. So I think they shine in different moments, which I find pretty interesting. I feel like Angry Bird is just a little bit more clutch. I don't know what it is. I think Big Bird is more consistent, marathon, and then Angry Bird is the sprinter. So
okay,
who's the better one between the two? You put me in these spots where I don't have a good answer.
That's
I don't have an answer, man. You go first.
I'm not saying all that to tell me to go first. You already scored.
I'm done. You go.
Okay, yeah, no. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I gotta cop out. Like, I fully agree with you what you just said right there. I would say that, like, all right, if it comes down to who's gonna take the last shot, that's Angry Bird for me right there. Like, he is more clutch.
I agree.
Like Street Fighter League, for example. But as far as an overall season, that's where I would say Big Bird. So I definitely think it's not like a easy thing. So, and not just that, man. Let's look at the history right here, bro. Just the recent history. The last CPT event that they had in the Middle East last year, Big Bird reset the bracket against Angry Bird 3-2. And then what happened in that last set? Angry Bird wins 3-2. They're literally fighting just tooth and nail, neck and neck. And you know something that's rough for them too, Brian? The fact that they play on the same team, like on the same Street Fighter League team, they can't even do something like dastardly like I would do, where, you know, look at me admitting I do something dastardly. But I would be like hot and like I might save something for nationals, to be honest with you, Brian. I might
they don't have anything to hide, bro. They played each other all day, every day. I mean, that's why they are the Birds, right? That's why they're the Birds. It's hard to call between the two, but we always know they're pushing each other to the limits, and they're seen, because I want to give a big shout out not just to these two players. Obviously, these are the 2-star players. No denying that. But you mentioned that Big Bird had to reset that bracket from losers. Why was he in losers in 2021? GTR is the other guy to look out for here. He had one of the best sets against Big Bird of that entire CPT season. I feel like Rock and Gill at that time. It was an amazing back and forth set between the two, putting Big Bird into losers. But that said, GTR, he's rocking Oro now. I mean, I don't know if that's to his
stop downplaying.
Gil, Oro, I mean, is more of a horizontal move in my.
My man said, man, Gil a killer man for that V trigger. Yeah, Gilla, lead the Illuminati for that V-trigger. Hey, no
I guess he
damn way.
would. I guess he would. But yeah, GTR has been, he rocks a lot of characters, but mostly we've seen the Oro lately, and he's the other player doing really consistent in these World Warriors and challenging the birds. So I obviously, full bias, looking forward to a lot of GTR gameplay. I can't hide it. I love the Oro.
You know, hey, bro, as far as just predicting the players, though, like you said, we brought up Angry Bird, we brought up Big Bird, you know, we brought up GTR. We got to also talk about my man's Laura G. He's been cooking, or, you know, just at least shout them out. We got to make sure we shout out Volcano Russo. Got to talk about Fandroid, Linku, Aziz. These are all players that have been on to come up. Of course, I mean, Aziz, we've been hearing about him for a while now over there in the Middle East. But if you look at their World Warrior events, there is a lot of competition here in this region. But we do got to say, we do got to imagine from what we have seen, it's no disrespect to anyone. It's just the fact that we got to respect the stats. We've seen what has happened up to this point. Angry Bird and Big Bird are the ones to look out for. We are going to see if anyone can actually challenge the throne.
And if you want to see if you can challenge the top players in your region for a shot at the throne, you can head on over to CapcomProTour.com to check out the CPT event for your region. Head on over there for the scheduling and details and register today.
And hold the hell up. While you're over there on CapcomProTour.com, make sure you scroll over to that little World Warrior tab. Monthly events instead of just one winner take all. Monthly events culminating in a big top 8 at the end, and the winner makes it into Capcom Cup as well. CapcomProTour.com.
That said, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready for the top 16 here. We have 16 players who have been putting in the work year after year after year. I mean, it's safe to say that these people have been grinding for this opportunity to take a shot at the king. Not just a shot at the king, a shot at the birds. Maybe two birds with one stone. They're trying to earn the right to say, hey, this region has a lot more to offer than what you might have heard. So that said, it is time for the top 16 for CPT Middle East.
Yes, sir!
When you go looking for strength, it's not like a game. This journey doesn't have a real ending. Okay then, hope you're ready to begin. If you want to start off on the right foot in this city, hit the streets.
Yeah, hey there, I do this. Never fear losing. And when I get up in the game, y'all be improved. A real problem, but I solve them all face proof. And if you think I'm going forward, then you talking fool. Yeah, y'all wanna win, let me spin, boy. All done inside, I'm super fly like I'm hanging off the rim, boy. I've been winning for my kinfolk, and I put on for my city from the intro. Fight! It started from the ground up, training getting wound up, channeling the inner self and moving up and down, crossing over, passing around, I'm full of time to count and keep score. Years I never thought it crossed before. When I get tired on my knees, I got it really deep. I feel like I'm on the road, it really has got me. Stand by, since I was the win, no good vibes. If you just let it get, I'm out here scheming, ride around and dreaming. Once I get the feeling,
The top player is here.
Let me have some fun.
Ready? Then show me.
This will be a good fight.
if you wanna come and stand up to me, pull up on me now. If you wanna challenge to me, what you wanna go me now. I'm on the road to the top and I'm not looking back. I'm on the road to the top and I'm not looking back.
This is our destiny. My secret art. Shoryuken! Street Fighter 6.
and welcome to the Middle East. I almost said the wrong thing. Middle East,
All you
CPT.
think about is the Midwest.
All I think
feel
about,
like.
we're in the middle area, definitely for the Middle East CPT event 2022. I'm sorry. When we were talking before, I was like, you know what?
I told him twice. I'm like, you're going to kick this off, and it's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be fantastic.
Fine.
We have some fantastic fights out here, do we not? We have the Angry Bird, the Big Bird, but more in store out here for this top 16. Cutting through this bracket to see who's going to qualify for that CPT spot.
That's right. Yeah, for those of you that are just tuning in right now, this is the Capcom Pro Tour. The Middle East qualifier is exactly what we could expect, and there's going to be a lot of representation from the UAE, as well as Kuwait, Turkey, Jordan, and a bunch of other countries, to name just a few of it. Just to let you guys know, this is the top 16 winners bracket. You know, I couldn't sleep proper at night, so I was watching all of this unfold, and I got to say, there are a handful of names that are pretty consistent in not only the CPT bracket, considering what had happened last year as well. But some of these names have been pretty up there for the World Warrior events as well. Just to name a few, Angry Bird versus Basher, that's going to be the first matchup. Beam the Gamer, I haven't seen just yet, but Volcano Rosso, we've seen his magic from last year. Big Bird and Fandroid, of course, we know who Big Bird is. Fandroid, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I've seen him play 16th overall for World Warrior out in the Middle East. GTR and Linku to round it out. Two names that are, I will say, pretty consistent in World Warrior, but GTR, more often than not, has been dominating, at least within like third place, and he's just under the Birds, and it's not even by like a lot either. I feel like at any moment GTR is going to have his breakout performance. It could even be this weekend, right? Let's take a look at the loser side.
Let's take a spot on the dot right here. Ice Candy going up against Tormentor, and then Handful and JD Cooper. Swan Song, Broken Wing, and then Tahul versus Tahul. And all these, again, are playing for that qualification seat. We're in the top 16, already noted. First of two, then tomorrow, first of three. But it's not just to qualify. They're playing for some scrap like that. They're definitely playing for a little bit more than just a seat. They're playing for some prize money, too, as well.
Yeah, how much is that prize money? It's exactly $5,000 dispersed within the top four, and it's actually such a cool thing to do, man. I mean, you get to play against some of the best in your region. You get to play at the comfort of your own home. The entry is free, by the way, and I gotta say, it's still a pretty generous deal being able to not only get a big cut of that dollar in the top four, but being sent off to Capcom Cup in first place, that is a pretty damn good deal. So we're going to see how this plays out. If you saw what had happened last year, right? It was the Battle of the Birds. You had the folks over at No Neutral, Brian F., as well as Rob TV cover that. Yo, big shout out to them, by the way. Each and every time, they've been killing it. Like, I literally I make sure that I get to the studio early to listen to like everything they'd have to say, because it leads to a lot, right? We talk about the players that have been coming through for the World Warrior and what to expect for the top 16 because of the context they put out there. So big ups to them and No Neutral and everybody that's been following along. But as it stands right now, right, there's a lot of big representation. There's a good amount of character diversity as well. But I will say, with the amount of characters in the wings and some of these players, one name sticks out the most to me in terms of quantity, and that is Luke. Right? We're going to see if the quality of it is there because of the fact that Luke has been so heavy-handed. Sure, he's a very great character, but you have to understand how to utilize him even in the realm of online play.
Yeah, we haven't really seen a lot of big results across the board for every single region. For a lot of regions, actually, for the CPT for qualifications, there have been a lot of Luke players. But in terms of like the World Warrior events, in terms of even other brackets, things like that, even in Japan, we see in the Street Fighter League Japan, it's not always Luke that's taking the victory. It's not just I pick up and play with Luke and get my victory every day. It's a little bit different with it. And as you said before, you have to be solid with that character, find it confirms. And speaking about that variety, I feel like a lot of variety comes also from some of these players in and of themselves. Angry Bird is going to be one of our first match of the day, plays a lot of characters. Ibuki, Rashid, Zeku. I mean, Ken, we already saw that work out in Street Fighter US. I mean, he's fantastic with any character that he puts his hands on. Has that really aggressive style that's hard to lock down.
That's literally the character that he used to secure his spot into Capcom Cup last year as well. When we saw that kind of showdown, we saw the recap from No Neutral. We saw that Angry Bird had faced off against Big Bird, utilizing Ken versus Seth. But that's not going to be the case here. He's going to face off against Bashar, who is from Kuwait, by the way. He got 25th last season, which is no easy feat, because that, I think the entrance in that one was just shy of 85 inch. I think it was 82 to be specific. So that was a gang of people trying to get that spot. So pretty impressive that he made it 2 times over. This time a lot higher in placement. But this is what I've been looking forward to the most. Ed. is going to be his main character. We see the Ken being picked from Angry Bird, and I gotta say, I had no idea he was 24.
Really?
I thought he was older than that.
He definitely looks a little bit older, but he definitely, like, when you talk to him, you can kind of see, like, he's got that young soul in him. And, you know.
Man, the first time I talked to him was like 2019 Capcom Cup, and he was 21. That's crazy.
Yeah.
that's actually crazy.
I met him at Combo Breaker, too, at that time. I was like, you're super young, and you're making big strides out here, especially with some characters that, during that time, were not seen as super strong. I mean, they were seen as strong, like Zeku and things like that, but making waves with characters with that aggressive style was him. But I'd like to see what happens with Basher with that Ed. I mean, that character has been on the map. We've seen that in the EU. We've seen that in the US, obviously. Ajax Fidelity coming through. And I feel like it's after he's gotten buffed and the system changes and things like that have led him a little more victory. And we're going to see who's going to get it. We're now in that top 16 spot on the dot. Let's get it.
Yeah, we're not going to rush through this one. This is going to be a pretty interesting matchup. I want to see what it's going to be like for Angry Bird, who's had that kind of experience against Ed. So I want to know if Bashar brings anything different to the table. Already duking it out here in the Street Fighter Duel stage. The Ring of Destiny, of course. Right out there in the middle. We're going to see a lot of that later on. But as it stands right now, Angry Bird, okay. We do see the V-Skill 2 coming in from Ed, allowing him to bypass some of the fireball games that Angry Bird might present. But I think overall, I think Ed can deal with the fireball just fine even without it.
Yeah, that's true. That's ways to get through, but here we go. Angry Bird getting close range with it. Trying to find over with the fierce. Backs up. Back throw. And man, the fact that you get back thrown in the corner with the quickness of that back throw, I like that he's going for these options. And again, even mid-screen, look at where that distance took him. Here's the activation. Time for the mix. Denied.
Oh,
The anti-air. Nice.
I love the Fear Reversal option too. Towards the end of that V-trigger, pretty much just winding down. He had blocked majority of it, so I guess he didn't want to face any of the mix-ups afterwards. We do see the counter hit from Bashar, but not really making anything of it.
Look at where Angry Bird's standing at. Crouch being a kick, lands it confirmed, but also dealing with the fireballs. EX, DP to bust out. B-shift caught him. But there's that crouch being kick confirmed again to get the win. If you're not confirming, you are not playing Ken, and Angry Bird's got those. With the simplest spots for crouch being kick into EX or other confirms like that.
It's been a pretty calm kind of approach from Angry Bird, right? He's been taking it nice and slow with testing out the ranges with the fireballs for the most part. Kind of looking for Bashar to kind of overcommit to certain things and also getting a decent amount of whip punishes too. So we're going to see how this plays out. So far, Bashar has been jumped in on at least, 2 out of 3 times.
That's true.
Big confirm from Angry Bird. And I say it's big because now he gets to push Bashar even more towards the corner. He's going to back off just a little bit, right? He doesn't want to overcommit.
Back to his screen. Adding up in terms of some of that gray life, but again, backing off for that distance. Bashar in that distance for himself to get that V skill. Here's that back throw, caught in the corner though, and another throw. Yeah, looking out for that activation. I like how he backed up, waited just long enough. With this mix, EXDP,
No,
yeah, can't do that.
Back throw as well. Angry Bird, I will say from the side of Bashar, like having some of these V-trigger moments, I feel like he hasn't really made the most of it, nor has he been able to anti-air Angry Bird's jumps. I feel like you can make him pay severely for that. And speaking of anti-airs, Angry Bird definitely on it. A little bit of a shimmy, throw tech in time, jump fierce again. Bashar trying to walk under it, but if you let that jumping heavy punch rip early, you hit him a lot sooner. Bashar thinking he was out in the clear. No, sir, he gets dumped in the head. First game going to Angry Bird.
That's got to be a better part of his game plan, the anti-airs. You do have those with Ed. We already saw that come through with the up kicks that do it. You got many sort of anti-airs with this character. You cannot let this character jump in for free. So if that's just the layer 1 right now, denying some of that approach. On the side of Angry Bird, that means you can jump in until that's proven different. DP, heavy addition, again, the jumping situation, and gets a throw. Look at him jumping, just flying for free.
It's a lot tougher because you're reducing Ken's jump angle severely because of that jumping heavy punch. So the timing has to be, you have a little bit less margin for error, a little less timing, but it's going to be Angry Bird. He's going to take this round, spending the bar if he didn't need to. Okay, yeah, it was going to be just fine. Whether he spent the bar or not, there was going to be a good amount of damage. Angry Bird cleaning it up, getting up perfect. Look at that match point against Bashar.
Save all that bar for this bottom for the super situation, if need be, to put him in the Oki situation. But already taking to the corner. This is where Ken loves to work. EXDP immediately early. Not trying to hold too much pressure. And that EX, no Oki, but still gets the dash and the crush. Not getting checked.
Oh, that low forward. Not really leading to much, unfortunately. I think it was too far for Angry Bird. But now, We get to see a full-on sequence from the target combo. Dashing up how many times over? Now in the corner. This is tough for Bashar. Crush counter lands the deal. Angry Bird just needs one more for stun.
Ooh.
Not the side switch.
Season 1 is over. Angry Bird moving 2-0 dominantly over Bashar.
That was definitely a CFN moment. If there's ever a time where we have to highlight big moments, that was it. That was the entirety of it. That was the most tricky thing I've seen in a very, very long time. Angry Bird taking it down over Bashar 2-0.
Good stuff for Angry Bird, utilizing that Ken, and it didn't seem like he was doing anything super ridiculous with the character, just outside the crouch and kick distance, throwing out the fireballs when need be, and took out the table when they got checked. And again, Bashar not anti-airing was also a tale of tapes. Like, if you are letting this character come in for free, even though it's not easy to check that jump fierce, you're allowing that access point for Angry Bird to strike in with, strike throw, over and over again to get that win. So Angry Bird moving on the bracket, going to be sitting in the top 8 spot tomorrow. We'll be seeing him, Bashar, seeing him a little bit longer in the loser side, see if he can survive.
And this is one of the toughest moments for Bashar. This is where he really needs to put it together, because although being the first one up, the first one sent down to loser side, he's going to be the last one to play. We kind of emphasized that point last week, how hard it is mentally to actually withstand all of that pressure and then withstand having to wait your turn after all of these matches had surpassed. So I hope he's going to be sitting in training room for a little bit longer than that. I mean, I hope he gets to figure it out as he gets ready for his loser side. But we still continue on. Beam the Gamer, hailing from the country of Jordan, going up against Volcano Russo. Now, Volcano Russo, I've been a big fan of since I got to see him play. I was blessed enough to see him play last year, and he was so impressive, man. He's got such an array of characters, too. But let's talk about Beam the Gamer. I have absolutely zero data on the young man, hailing from Jordan. But the fact that he plays Ryu automatically makes me a fan.
All about vanilla. Let's see what he's talking about. See what Beamer's got to say. I'm very excited and eager for the challenge of coming up. There are a lot of talented players here, and I'm looking forward to facing them. One thing to know about Beamer is that he's also a content creator too as well. He's been showcasing a little bit of that Ryu on his channel. I checked out a few of his videos, and I love that he's got the gamer face up on the YouTube thumbnails and stuff like that. So you know that he's optimal when it comes to content creation. Let's see if he's optimal out here. Ryu, a character that we don't get to typically see. He got buffed. He's a little bit more solid, but he just lacks the mix that other characters have to be more stable. And even though Luke doesn't have mix, I feel like with Ryu, you have to work a little bit harder. Your normals aren't as strong.
He hits hard. I don't know about that.
When he hits you, it's hard. But when you compare it to the
hard.
normals of Luke, though, I mean, it's something different. It's like a different echelon. However, Ryu's still good. I think Ryu's still a good character. You just have to work a little bit harder, as many characters are in Street Fighter V.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things about the Ryu versus Luke matchup, I think there's a lot more consistency on board in regards to the fireball game from Luke. I think there's a lot more damage that you can access in the corner without as many resources, I feel like. Ryu can dish out some pretty big damage if he were to run maybe V-Skill 2, Trigger 2, and get the extensions. But I mean, even off of Trigger 1, you still get some pretty good damage. You get increased damage off of all of his punch normals. You get uppercut, fireball, etc. You get more stuns. So you get a lot of potential there. I think Luke just has that complete package even without V-Trigger.
Yeah.
Right? Any clean hit, any counter conversion, or having EX bar, it leads to so much damage. It leads to that further positioning into the corner. So we'll see how it plays out. I think Beam the Gamer, getting this far, he has a lot to prove. Volcano Russo, not his first rodeo. He got 4th last season. Just shy. He actually got paid out, but just shy of making it within that grand final set. I think his last performance in that region, man, it was so close. It could have been either way, but really looking forward to seeing how this plays out.
Speaking of 4th, I mean, he's 4th right now in the World Warrior results.
He's 5th.
Oh, 5th? My bad. He's actually 5th. Getting 9th, 4th, 7th, and 5th, all added up in terms of points. So he's close to qualification. I like that Tatsu right through the fireball, then predictably to push him in the corner.
Oh, that could have been a conversion too. It was counter hit. Standing light kick, just wasn't a fan or wasn't a believer of it. And I like that from Beam. Beam into 2 Volcano Russo right now. Damage incoming. Build up that meter as well. He's more than just a content creator. Sinkola, watch out for the throw. Oh, and we all thought it as well. Volcano Russo got blown up sky high. Beam the Gamer actually threw out a slightly delayed crouching medium punch to catch Volcano Russo on those standing 5 frames of the throw. That was so clean.
You can definitely tell that he's played this character for a long time. And anybody that's been playing Ryu right now is definitely going to play a character since season 1 to get dumped. There's that medium, that fantastic button reaching in that distance where we would love to hit these 4 fierces and the solar suplexes and stuff like that. The fireball game, again, better for this character with the quickness and the jumping. Calls it out. Might be time to call it quits. Beam the Gamer, only 1 hit away from that stun. Or 2, I should say.
longer going to be a factor, at least up until this point. No, sir. He's going to keep pressing those buttons. Volcano Russo, one of the great things about Luke is that he gets to occupy Wall Street with so many of the stocks he has in his normals, right? His normal repertoire will be making you bank no matter what, and it's a great time to spend it. I got to say right now, okay, he was holding on to that meter, ends up spending it on the fireball, but still, look at the damage. He builds it back already for EX Flash Knuckle, this guy, Volcano Russo.
By the bust out from Beam to get some distance with the B ship. Let's go for the break. So let's get some distance. And it doesn't matter. Even if you back up against this character, the medium punches reach at that range where you get the Oki too if you get those hits. And now, in the corner, V reversal locks him down. The trade. It's just going in for the lights and the mediums to put it good night. Volcano Rosso, understand that the forward-reaching buttons of like light punch, medium, will get in that distance. He doesn't have to overcommit. Man.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. I think there's a lot to really take into consideration for Beam the Gamer. I think there's going to be a lot of normals where he can't really contest as successfully against something like Luke standing medium punch. He's trying to counter poke away as well. I think Ryu, again, he still has the tools.
Yeah.
It's just kind of tough to manage against normals like Luke just a little bit further, I think.
Like this fireball game a little bit better. It's until the fist comes to the face. The fears. V-ship in the break. Goes back to mid-screen. See what Volcano Rosso does. Just waits for that forward fears. He's waiting for him to whip a button. Put him in the corner. Then at that great corner pressure. EX fireball. Back to mid-screen we go.
It's so much more dangerous. Okay, I like that trade-off of Volcano Rosso. Using the meter. Calling out the fireball as well.
Oh.
Yeah, we were going to see the tackle no matter what.
Keeping it meaty as much as possible. Even happy Trigger keeps himself solid too right after Volcano Rosso now on set point.
Oh. No anti-air. Volcano Rosso just letting it rock. Beam the Gamer. You can see Volcano. You see his agenda. You know what he's about right now. He's just chilling. He's just hanging out. He's trying to see Beam the Gamer overcommit to something severe and nasty, and we see Volcano Rosso just picking him apart. There's one being able to call out the fireball.
Chaser. Looks up with the jab. EX fireball gets the activation. Back to the screen. We go with the DP. This should help out with the zoning game. Just a little bit better. Sweep off the feet. Gotta watch out for that activation. See the bar at the bottom. You know what he's going for. The tag. Try to get that medium punch to connect, but you see Beam the Gamer in that crouch kick distance to get that hit. Dash in, charge up on the whack
his face. Woo! Pulls the stun. No, sir. So, yeah, Volcano is going to be just fine. Thermal Barrier to challenge the fireball. We do see the V-skill charge up. A bunch of Sandblast coming in. The fireball, sorry, the uppercut from Beam. Absolutely ready. Just one touch. He overcommitted with the dash up. It gets checked.
Not the kill. One hit well on either side. Beam needs to stay in the game. There for the fireballs. We've seen the jump and stuff from Volcano Rosso, but he lets it rock from downtown. And Volcano Rosso a little bit quicker on the draw to make him fall with that plasma play.
Yeah, I would have loved to see maybe like a V-skill or two coming in from Beam the Gamer to kind of advance if he could time it correctly. But I get it. In the streets of CFN, it's like, why risk it? Especially with pretty much one touch left. But they were showing signs of promise. I got to say, Beam the Gamer had a very solid offensive sequence, but the same can be said exactly from Volcano Rosso. The way that he's been piloting Luke thus far shows that he's very, I guess, well educated with the character. He understands some of the routes that need to be done, some of the perfect frame flash knuckles that he needs to do to get some like the extensions and the damage consistently. So either way, I do like Volcano Rosso moving on. Beam the Gamer, I'm also very interested to see how he's going to perform down below with the Sharks. But as it stands right now, we got Big Bird, the runner-up from last year, and also technically in second place at the World Warrior events, just shy against Angry Bird. And that's going to be, he's going to be going up against Fandroid, hailing from Kuwait. And what could potentially be a Luke mirror match. I mean, I feel like there's not going to be a lot to force Big Bird off of this character, so it's really up to Android to stick it out in this mirror match to see how well he fares up.
I mean, if he does happen, like we have already seen the Ken and things like that, the Rashid too as well. So, but I do think that he's well versed in that mirror match. He's played a lot of the other players in that mirror match. Obviously, Angry Bird also has a Luke, maybe not to the same level that we've seen Big Bird or maybe other players because he dabbles in various other characters. I think that he'll be okay if the mirror match does come into play. And again, if he does feel uncomfortable in this first of two, he can switch over to Ken. But let's see what Big Bird's been talking about.
Yeah, his quote for us all: Fandroid plays Luke, so he's automatically a threat. That's true, 100%.
Right.
Other than that, it'll be a good match, I hope. just let me be the victorious one. And I get that. I mean, every Luke can be pretty volatile. When you're at this stage of the game and you're within top 16, everybody's going to be a threat no matter what. But on top of that, having a Luke, I totally understand Big Bird's sentiment. In fact, Fandroid actually did pretty well for himself at the first World Warrior, just shy of top 3. He actually got 4th. He fell to, I believe, GTR, but other than that, he's been pretty active, enough to get him at least 60 points. I think he's currently in, 6th place overall? No, 16th place overall. So I do like seeing him and how he's been performing. No, I lied. It is 6th place. I'm sorry. Not 16th. It is 6th place indeed. So he has 90 points. But either way, it's going to be Luke versus Luke. Really curious to see it. Big Bird, he's had so much practice already against like a ton of the Lukes, whether it be over in the UAE, whether it be in the States as well.
Right.
I feel like he's no stranger to danger. Fandroid, however, I have not seen him perform last season, so I don't know what characters he had prior to this, but the only character he had listed is Luke. So I want to know if he has what it takes. Again, he's made it this far up to the winner's bracket.
Right.
Let's see if we can get it going between these two.
If you make it this far, obviously you have something different. And I'm definitely going to see what he brings to the table for his Luke play, because you could fight every Luke in the business, but it being a mirror match, that means you're going to be focusing on the player a lot more than the character itself. So I'm wondering what he's going to be doing different. Is he going to be more aggressive? Is that something that that Big Bird's going to be looking out for? Is he going to be more passive, like we've seen over in Street League Japan? Like Yamaguchi is a more defensive sort of style when it comes to Luke play, and all those things are going to have to be expeditiously caught up with in the first or two, because you don't have much time to deliberate on how they want to play and gather that data. So it's going to be a Luke mirror match. We're going to see who's got the different sort of style. And I know that people are like, oh man, a mirror match and stuff like that. But I do feel like we're getting to a point of this game where we can start to see the differences between the players, the characters and stuff like that. Even though this character's only been out for so long, I do think that we can start to see this person plays more aggressive with the fireballs. This person's more optimal. Let's see what happens. Big Bird, Fandroid.
Acting second, you can see already the counterplay coming in from Big Bird. Seeing Fandroid commit to a standing medium punch, the uppercut, very delayed, rocket upper. We do like the anti-air consistencies here. Want to see if Fandroid has what it takes to keep the mental awareness against Big Bird. But now he's keeping it a lot more grounded. We see the big opener from the medium punch, a medium punch again, but no counter hit. We get the activation. And we see an interruption. And another challenge from Fandroid, too.
The Big Bird's trying to go for that B-skill. EXCP busting out. Fandroid loves his fireballs, but Big Bird, too quick on the draw with the medium. B reversals the shots. Back medium, but the trade to make him drop. I like that light kick, not committal with it, and you're not going to be eating a lot of damage if it does hit that trade. More than enough health to stay alive. Big Bird with the first one.
Yeah, that's usually the option you're going to if you just need a tad bit of damage. So do understand the Big Bird, again, he was playing at pretty much at the back end of it, really, trying to get the counter pokes going. Now he's being the initiator. We do get the low forward into the flash knuckle. Oh, you thought you were going to be on the same side? No, sir. That was actually a super funky interaction. Fandroid. Ugh, the bust out. I love that. I love that. Don't even give your opponent a chance to breathe.
Right back at him. With a goon to a goblin. Activation right off the fireball. B-trigger flavored and letting him rock. Try to get that B-skill, but he's got that too. Careful now. One more hit and through. Medium kick. One more hit and the whiff punish. Too far out in that distance. You see him back up to let that whiff. Fantastic play right here to get that footsie play going. But Fandroid, I like his focus on fireballs. It's just a little bit too much. We've seen it get interrupted with back heavy kick and medium punch over and over again. And some of these decisions on defense have been a little bit too antsy and a little bit too autopiloty. We also saw the V-skill stock up too as well when he had V-trigger, when Big Bird had V-trigger. It's like you can't do that because he can hit you full screen.
I think majority of the time Fandroid caught damage was getting whiff punished. Yeah, he gets whiff punished again. I don't think it's a defensive decision-making problem. I think it's more so just placing the wrong normals at the wrong time. I love the crush counter anticipation that Fandroid using that back roundhouse to catch maybe a normal. And now he's playing on the back foot, getting a couple of counters against Big Bird in places where he couldn't or he shouldn't be reaching. Look at the amount of damage. No, he actually anticipated the throw.
The back heavy kick
that was so smart. Fandroid, I love that. Back roundhouse again to ring out the shots 2 times over for the crush counter. Big Bird might be in trouble.
Maybe. I do like that Fandroid's putting that button up on the table a little bit more. We talked about how those buttons maybe he placed a little bit better, and he's utilizing that button first as a party starter. And not just committing to medium and forward heavy punch. Ooh, as soon as I say that, whiffs the fierce, but not a big punch though for Big Bird.
We didn't see any of the meter as well from Big Bird. He actually threw out just a regular flash knuckle. We think it's a crush counter. Sorry, cross-cut DP. Check Fandroid. Look at the amount of damage so far that Fandroid has taken. Oh boy, he's gonna make him eat a lot more of it. Flash knuckle. Still gets the Oki, the big counter hit as well. That was a very meaty crouching medium punch, but still, what is happening? He's too far from the corner to get that flash knuckle. Sorry, the rocket uppercut.
Don't leave Luke alive.
Oh my god, so much extra damage.
Yep, leave it on the table. Now this distance. All this is one good EX fireball. You see Big Bird looking for it. Wait for him to walk forward and step right in it. Oh,
that's
fantastic
huge.
jump in. Has the V-skill charged up. That's damage
Are you
on the
dead?
deck.
I think you're hella dead. By the time you start, are you under stun?
Oh, just by a little
it's a pixel. The magic pixel is that Big Bird pulling all the tricks, standing medium kick. The one button to rule them all. With one button to find him. Big Bird making big waves, really, with that standing medium kick, letting that shot ring out against Fandroid. But I will say, man, that's got to be super unfortunate for Fandroid not being able to get that kill. That was so close.
So close. Right in that distance, too. And we'll see something different with the EX fireball. Puts him in the corner. V-shift. Caught him trying to leave. Where you going? Back medium punch for the plus frames. And the medium punch, too. Caught him whipping again. It's still not your turn with that space trap like that. Fandroid trying to work his way out with that medium kick. You talked about that button being fantastic.
Word. Okay.
It still worked out. All according to plan.
Frames, hella plus frames. I do understand the reversal, but still, Big Bird, he's trying to find a way out, maybe? Or he's going to hang back until the trigger dissipates? He'll act on two things, right? He'll buffer, or he'll do that. Okay, well, he got it either way. Big Bird caught Fandroid flinching. It's more than enough damage. Big Bird taking it 2-0 with the Luke mirror match. I almost wrote down Luke in my progression sheet. I was going to say, you know, Big Bird, Luke, pretty much the same person.
Pretty much. I mean, I love that he's sticking with this character. I love that he's putting in work with the character, and we see his optimality. You know, a few things a little shaky, but that's A-okay as he gets his win today and moves on to top 8 tomorrow. Fandroid gonna have to see if his Luke play can make it through the losers bracket. But man, oh man, you see the options like this, the non-committal buttons with the lights and things like that, and routing it back when things got a little scrappy was really great. But not for nothing, Fandroid had some fantastic sequences. We saw some optimality. It's just that super not being able to get that one last pixel, that one last little bit.
Yeah, it was just pretty close. But Fandroid, again, we've seen the potential from his gameplay. We've seen the amount of damage he's done in the corner, so he understands like the full-on offensive sequences he needs for, you know, optimizing the damage. And then this sequence alone, I think that was just very unlucky from Fandroid, not being able to close it out just because there was just a pixel left on the side of Big Bird. That was just mad unfortunate. I think he played it right. It would have been down to a tie game scenario, but as it stands right now, Big Bird, he's the one that took it down 2-0. Looking forward to seeing what's coming. And it's going to be coming out real soon, I feel like, when we get to finish out the winners quarterfinals.
Yes, sir. A lot of great Street Fighter 5 action already for the people. A lot of donuts, but a lot of good action either way. Some Luke play and some other things with the little man Ryu. But you know what it do. Street Fighter 5 has been fantastic. It's great to play at home. I love playing it online, offline, things like that. But what happens? What happens when I want to go offline? When I want to go outside and touch grass? What do I do then? Well, I play Street Fighter Duel.
You play it while you're touching grass?
While I'm touching grass, I have my phone out and I play Street Fighter Duel, the new mobile game coming soon. Capcom authorized mobile game Street Fighter Duel is now available to download in China with a global version coming soon. Fight alongside Ryu, Chun-Li, Ken against the Suzaku Kazu further into Shadowloo City and explore the mysterious organization. Experience the classic stories with all your fighters and recall your memories. The original Street Fighter, your legend. Your Street Legend is back on track. Various fighting styles and counter stuns, combos and supers, an impressive array of fighting game elements and the associate combos offer you a new battle experience challenging your combat skill. The epic legend is reborn on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now and let's fight for each other and journey with millions of players to become the best fighter and touch grass.
What? If you guys are looking for more Street Fighter action, well, I'll tell you what, the World Warrior project has been going down. The World Warrior events have been going down for all of these regions and all of these tournament organizers. For your spot at the Capcom Cup, well, to let you guys know, 26 different regions. It holds 26 different champions. These events are going to be happening monthly, and it's getting pretty close, too. I feel like all the finals are going to be happening in December, so it may not actually be too late, depending on how you do. But as it stands right now, we do have a pretty established roster of players from all 26 regions. If you guys want to check it out, though, for yourself. CapcomProTour.com is where you need to go for more information and exactly how to register for your events. Even just tuning in has been extremely exciting, right? We've talked about some of the events going on with Slash and Dash as well for the Middle East. We've taken a look at some of the events over at Salt Mine League because we had talked about that last weekend. So if you guys want to check it out for yourself, again, CapcomProTour.com for all the information you need to tune in and possibly compete with the best in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see more of the best in the Middle East in just a little bit. We have more Street Fighter V action your way where we round out the winner's side, then bring it down to the Sharks below. It's going to happen after this break.
Time to fight, time to fight. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand have turned to defeat. So fight, time to fight. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are Street Fighters.
When you go looking for strength, it's not like a game. This journey doesn't have a real ending. Okay then, hope you're ready to begin. If you want to start off on the right foot in this city, hit the streets.
Yeah, hey, there I do this. Never fear losing. And when I get up in the game, y'all be improved. A real problem, but I solve them all face proof. And if you think I'm going forward, then you talking fool. Yeah, y'all wanna win, let me spin, boy. Or done society, I'm super fly like I'm hanging off the rim, boy. I've been winning for my kinfolk. And I put on for my city from the intro. Fight! It started from the ground up, training getting wound up, channeling it in itself and moving up and down, crossing over, passing around, on the time the clock and keep score. Years I never thought it crossed before. When I get tired on my knees, I gotta dig in the deep. I feel like I'm on the block, it really has got me. I stand up, since I was the win, no good vibes. If you just let it get, I'm out here scheming, riding around and dreaming. Once I get the feeling,
The top player is here.
Let me have some fun.
Ready? Then show me.
This will be a good fight.
if you wanna come and stand up to me, pull up on me now. If you want to challenge to me, what you wanna call me now? I'm on the road to the top and I'm not looking back. I'm on the road to the top and I'm not looking back.
And welcome back to the Middle East CPT Top 16. We have so much action waiting for you. We're not even close to being through. My name is St. Cola. I'm joined with Vicious. How you doing, brother?
I'm chilling, man. We already got ourselves our first 3 candidates into the top 8, if I'm not mistaken. And although it went by 2-0, there was still a good amount of potential in a lot of these players that we've seen thus far. Although we've only seen 6, we've seen 3 already that have been repeat names thus far. Angry Bird, Volcano Russo, as well as Big Bird. But Bashar, being the gamer as well as Fandroid, they all showed pretty solid potential. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how they're going to traverse the shaky waters down below. But before we even get to that entire segment, we have one more winners quarterfinal match.
That's right, GTR versus Linku. Come up on the deck. GTR, many people know his name. This is the Gil player, the Ryu player, Sagat player, but now the Oro player. 31-year-old? I didn't know he was 31. That's amazing. And then Linku come up on the deck with the Karen. You can still make a career out of this character. She is still good. Let's see what GTR has to say.
Yeah, so from his performance thus far, he's looking to see how well he fares up against his opponents, right? He already considers, Linku being a hard matchup, so he says it right there. Hard matchup, but I'll try my best. Pretty easy, pretty standard, but GTR, again, he's been putting in the work for the Middle East region, specifically for the United Arab Emirates. Linku, on the other hand, I haven't seen a lot of, to be honest. He's hailing from Kuwait. He didn't make it into the CPT last season. I feel like I didn't get to see his results at all unless he was under another alias. But as it stands right now, he's currently 8th in the World Warrior event for the Middle East, and that speaks volumes because there's a lot of killers out there, to be honest with you. But GTR, I feel like that kind of statement doesn't really shine as much of a light towards GTR because of the fact that he's been third forever. I feel like he was 3rd in CPT last season, fell just short to the Birds with a very spectacular Gil and Ryu from the top 16 performance. Then over on the World Warrior side, he still makes it into 3rd place. He's been super consistent, right? Taking a look at his past performances, the first 2 months, he fell short to the Birds again. Then in his performance in 3rd, he fell a little bit short too against Aziz, a newborn champ. And then in the 4th month, not too long ago actually, he just placed 4th. So I get it. There's a lot of consistency there. So we're going to see if he has what it takes to take down at least one of his opponents for the top 16. Then he gets awarded to play off against one of the Birds again. But we'll see if that happens. Right?
To play off against the Birds. But again, we talked about how this could be the day where he gets to exceed the Birds. I mean, he's always just behind, just a little bit behind. This could be the day. We'll see if he has the ability to do so against Linku. Oro versus Karen, I'm not sure. We again get to typically see not a lot of Oro players just in general. Brian after smiling somewhere. But Linku, I'm sure if Linku gets the bar, that's going to delete some of the fireballs off the table, being able to skate set through some of the zoning that GTR would love to do.
Yeah, you don't really get an Oki off of that. I don't believe you do off of the EX command grab. Checking the lows. Linku has already taken a severe amount of damage thus far. I think GTR can... Yeah, overcommitting. I don't know what exactly it was that Linku was looking for. Should be more than enough damage. Yeah, GTR taking the first round. Pretty much finessing the ring a good amount of the times, right?
That's right.
I think there's a lot of control that he's had so far, and now he gets to pretty much play wild. He just dashed up and through.
No check, though. Here's Linku with the EX bar, the push to the corner with the V skill too as well. Puts the palms on him, trying to work him in the corner. There's that medium kick, one of the best buttons of the character, and allows for so much damage. Actually goes in for the Oki situation instead of backing off for the V skill, and I like that. And after using that with the EX bar at the bottom, Linku can check that, and now he is not checking anything. He is getting checked up in the corner. GTR jump in. Ooh, no chase on the V ship, but this is still good. One touch for the stun.
Yeah, he overcommitted just a little bit. There might have been like an overlap in inputs. I think he was moving and grooving a little bit too much. Linku, though, too far away to get the rest of that combo. He whiffed the EX Tenko, and that's going to be all she wrote. Yo, GTR taking it after the Tengu Stone. Why did I say Tenko? The Tengu Stone activation. Nice and easy so far. 2 rounds straight. 1 game to GTR.
We don't even see that become a play, like the V-Trigger factor become a play, because I feel like that's a good portion of why Oro is so good is because of V-Trigger too. When he pops that, you have to hold that pressure if you don't have V-Bar or even EXDP, and even that is risky. You pop that, you might get caught. So GTR just running this neutral fantastically, dominating, outplaying Linku so far.
Yeah, I kind of stand by that as well. I think there's a lot that GTR has been pretty much exemplifying with the normal usage, right, and the whiff punishing too. I think Oro can get a decent amount of damage, and also he's one of the biggest, he gets so much damage off of this.
A lot of changes, even in the anti-air department, but so does Karen. Oh, you called that right.
I mean, that's usually how it goes, right? Spinning that bar to get the corner control. is a very common thing right now for Karen players, even since the beginning of time. I think GTR right now is trying to fight his way out, but nothing big really yet.
Yeah, Linku getting dashed in on. One more touch will seal it. The meaty knees. He shifts away from danger. You're a stranger. Don't talk to me. One touch here for GTR.
I like that activation route as well. Yeah, and that's nice and easy too. GTR doesn't have to take any big risks. Just a crouching jab. Linku accidentally running into it. Not something he wants to do. No anti-air as well. But again, the jump in fierce from Oro is kind of tough to contest sometimes.
Yeah, it's like Ken's with that downward angle. So maybe staying fierce might not work out for Karen. She'd have to put up Ian's bar, but they'll do that for the reversal to get some distance. And the challenge, I like that GTR, knowing that's fake. Can't believe it's not shoulders.
Yeah, if Linku catches onto that, I think he could throw it a little bit sooner. We talked about the elimination of fireballs. As soon as you have bar, EX Tenko to make his way through, but GTR getting himself out of the corner. Yeah, just a double jump, really. I love that side switch from Linku. Good awareness, just awareness of line, really, to get out of there. But he has to hold all the Tengus.
Back up, puts him in the corner, and that'll be more than dead right there. Doesn't even the bar at the bomb to cook this man up. GTR with a 2-0 sweep off the feet.
We're starting to see a big common occurrence concerning a lot of the donuts out here. But GTR, and I don't mean like the donuts on the track that he's been running. GTR, I hope the name is actually a reference to the vehicle. But anyways, GTR 2-0 against Linku. Very impressive Oro. We've seen a lot of control thus far. Now I'm kind of curious to see what he has against the Big Bird, right? Oro versus Luke, that's something that I only really see on one channel and one channel only. That's Brian F's stream. So I want to know if we're going to see something similar to that of that degree. Big Bird being one of the biggest proponents or biggest heavy hitters in the United Arab Emirates. I want to know if GTR is going to have enough to step up to the big fella. As it stands right now, we already have our top 8 established for the winner side. Let's kind of flip the script and take a look at the Sharks down below.
Ooh-wee. Time to send some people home. Toe tag them and bag them. Ice Candy going up against Tormentor for the first one. Handful, JD Cooper, Swan Song, Broken Wing, and after that, Taul versus Taul.
That's a tongue twister.
I'm
actually going to mess up between Talu and Tahul, to be honest with you. But let's go all the way up, right? Qatar, Ice Candy, representing their place. Tormentor as well, coming in from the United Arab Emirates. Really curious to see because Ice Candy has already had a very significant placing into the top 16, considering how he's been performing in the World Warrior Series, right? He's currently 28th, but right now he's sitting at, minimum of the 16th. But as it stands right now, he's facing off against the Tormentor. He placed 9th, he placed 9th last season for the EMEA qualifier, and he's currently 33rd in the World Warrior Series. I don't know if it's like lack of trying or if he had like performed once and just like haven't really been showing up or not. I haven't get to see like the full results, but as it stands right now, the Tormentor, I don't recall who he used in the season prior because his data didn't show up. That's really all it was. Like he changed his name as well, but he's playing Luke now. That's all that matters. As long as you're playing Luke now, that's all that matters. Inconsiderate Raccoon, yo, what's up, man? I see you. Yay, Oro wins. And I see the, those have to be Umos.
Rack attack, yeah, power up. Yeah. But, let's go to Ice Candy real quick. His character choice that he listed was Zeku and Ed. Those are two very powerful characters. And going to Zeku, we've already talked about Ed, how strong he is. We've already seen how strong he is. Twitter been talking about how strong that character is. But Zeku is one of those characters that I feel like does not get a lot of attention until someone like Angerbird comes up the scene every so often with him. And it's not as common as it was previously. Like, that's still a very strong character.
Who's Zeku?
Yeah. He's ridiculous. Yeah. He just takes a lot of work. And you do find reward with that character, but you do have to put a lot of work into to maining him. It's a 2-in-1 deal. You have two characters in one. That means your matchup spread is going to be a little bit different. And then also when you want to have the anti-air, you got to be an old. For the ground game, it's got to be young. So being able to switch and flip that script a little bit so you can fight in neutral is kind of difficult with the character. It takes a little bit more work than other characters. However, again, he dumps out damage, he dumps out stun. So he's still good in this game. He's still, in my opinion, 10.
I think Zeku does a pretty damn good job still overall. But we'll see how that plays off against someone like Luke. Tormentor already. Man, you actually caught him? That's a fully charged flash knuckle. That's some big boy damage.
A lot of frames. DP. I like to get the distance with the band. Sweep off the feet. He's got that feet trigger. And he does get the jump in. The DP gets it done. Ice Candy. Smooth. Cool.
Round 2.
look at thus far, man. I think there's a lot to be said in regards to the offensive capability. The Tormentor being offensive himself, getting a big jump in against the Graham. Oh, that's a big counter hit conversion as well.
Off the medium, didn't commit with it, didn't have that hit. And Ice Candy lives to fight another day.
No activation. He just took it. He's like, you know what? I think I'm going to get punished today. That's fine. How interesting. Yeah, I think had he activated earlier, I think... Ooh, this is going to be huge.
Jumping, flying through.
The amount of damage. I think like a sequence and a half, he could take it.
Oh, yeah.
Slide
People at the
trigger.
bottom. Yeah, you have to worry about that.
Oh,
Oh, the activation.
There we go. Oh, you know what? I realized it was trigger 2. I'm done. Don't worry about that. I didn't realize it was trigger 2. So yeah, you do get the anti-air capability. You do get the animal attack as well. Nature is scary. We get to see Thermo Barrack the throw after that. Tormentor taking it right back from underneath Ice Candy. And I gotta say, yeah, that was a big miscall on my behalf. I think Ice Candy, again, committing to that sweep is gonna be a lot tougher because you can't cancel out of it.
Exactly. Put him in a risky situation. Ice Candy also, you know, finding more of these anti-situations gotta be with DP, I think, instead of back techie. However, just run right underneath, trying to get him with the EX run. Tormentor answering back. Back medium punch, bust frames. And again, those slides.
Very awkward positioning for the Tormentor, not being able to catch him off with a neutral jab. Ice Candy's just been so slippery. It's been 2 ships passing in the night, and 2 instances over, but Tormentor getting the sweep into the trigger. Now a forward throw. We still have Thermo Barrack. No jump back jab. I like that option. EX uppercut. Ice Candy trying to get a little froggy. He's been jumping all over Tormentor.
Tormentor has to keep his feet on the ground. Oh my god, that could have been a DP. Again, another jump in, but no conversion. Tormentor knows that he cannot take his feet off the ground this round.
Oh, the animal kicked him. That was so sick. I was waiting for Sakamoto.
Ooh.
Hey, that's what I like to see. Ice Candy taking some big risks.
He -2 is not so bad, but could have got checked on the way in. But however, it is Ice Candy to get the win. And honestly, there's a few more things that he needs to shore up to make this even more of a possible, at least 2-0. Better anti-airs with the DPs and things like that in old form, and better confirms. However, Tormentor is lacking the anti-airs on his side too as well. We've seen a lot of these jump-ins come for free, and Luke definitely has some great range on his DPs, heavy and light and things like that. Gotta see those come through. Do not let him jump medium kick into 40% of your life.
Pretty important things to be aware of, but I will say there were a couple of instances where Tormentor had utilized maybe like the neutral jump and pretty much taken into an awkward position. But as it stands right now, Ice Candy been pretty mobile thus far.
Gonzalez just too far out in that sequence. Look at the target combo right here. I like that.
Tormentor has been committing to these flash knuckles like what, 2 times over now? I don't even see what exactly it is he's trying to do. But he's gonna back throw. This is gonna be great for positional advantage. Forward throw now gets to apply even more pressure. Dashing up, suppressor. No sir. He wish it hit. That's what it was.
If it was the Fireball, he could have kept that pressure. I would have liked that option a little bit better. And again, no anti-situation from the side of Tormentor. Tormented by these aerial approaches and wakes up with the light. Did not get the conversion. He's gonna hold a lot of damage for this one with the crush in the corner carry. Things are getting scary.
I think back throw will do it. Not the forward throw though. Oh no, it gets blocked. You're actually gonna be dead. Ice Candy. Nice and easy. Nice and easy with the punish. Does get the block on the overhead. That was pretty much a done deal against Tormentor. As soon as it was blocked, we all knew it was over.
He's not light right there. Ice Candy on set point. Fierce EX run. The tech though. Finish with the medium. And he sweeps. He's going for the risk. He's finding a reward. We haven't seen Tormentor block them out. EXTP for the bust out. Nice jump in on the B skill. A little bit active.
A little bit of exchange. Standing jab. And now Ice Candy pretty much all over the feed shift out of there. Tormentor. He hasn't really found his place yet. Again, another flash knuckle, but it doesn't go up. It goes unpunished.
One good medium could have did a lot of damage there.
Oh, he could have done the Fujimura.
He only gave you the tech on Twitter. I know you liked it, retweeted it.
You could have had like 3 flash knuckles in a row.
Would have been sick. It's not over though. No anti going for the jump back of all things.
And it's so tough. We talked about the anti-airs as Young Zeku. We see it pretty much non-existence from Ice Candy, unfortunately. But it's possible. Looking for the ranges.
He does have V-Trigger too. I mean, he was sitting on that bar at the bottom and did not let that rip. Watson gets the counter either way on that drop. Tacky palms, puts it on him. The dash in overhead raw, not even EX. for the -2. That could have been -4, but what's in store right now is almost done.
Yeah, stun no longer going to be a factor. Tormentor fights his way out. So he can't punch Sakamoto, man. You got animal rights coming after you after this.
Peter's watching. Explosion did the palm. It is super. That would have been sick to find the finish, but can do the chip no dip either way.
Yeah, he can. He definitely can. He's in this position right now to do so, and that was nice and easy either way. Ice Candy recovering from the air, getting a crouch jab. Tormentor falls just a little bit short, and by a little bit, I mean, you know, there were a couple of instances where he went for stuff that he shouldn't, and primarily Flash Knuckles, I will say, but Ice Candy is going to be the one to eliminate. That's 2-0 against Tormentor. Man who showed up and got 9th last season. Well, unfortunately, he gets to go home a little bit early or play the rest of his day, maybe on ranked or something.
It's possible. You know,
Chill.
could enter the World Warrior events. Obviously, we still have one more. But for right now, Ice Candy moving on the bracket. You know, I do like that Ice Candy was noticing that Tormentor was not anti-airing him. He's going with these jump-ins. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And we also saw the EX situation switched up for the EX run into EX overhead, which is EX run dash in to see what Tormentor was going to do. And that confirmed was super sick to delete that overhead and route it back. But again, Tormentor with a lot of drops. We saw him commit to these heavy knuckles, even the charged ones to try to get it done. But that just led to his demise, even if they weren't heavily punished.
And I don't know what that instance was for the Tormentor. He saw a running up young Zeku into the overhead, and he just stood there and took it. There wasn't like any counter hit. We didn't see any movement. The character literally stood still. So that was really unfortunate. But as it stands right now, Ice Candy, his reward, well, he gets to play off against Linku, but that's not going to be coming up. In fact, we're going to have Handful versus JD Cooper. Now, I didn't get to see any of their data in the realm of CPT, nor did I really get to see it in the World Warrior series, right? I haven't seen Handful, at least within the top 8. I haven't seen JD Cooper, but I will say both players hailing from Turkey, so we do get that representation. This is going to be a Ken versus Kage matchup, and now I'm actually mad excited to see that. I didn't even see who they were going to be using up until this point, so really, really curious to see it. Also kind of curious to see what Handful had to say going up into his matchup. They had his quote ready for the top 16 going into it. He says,
let's have some fun. Prepare for some random EXDPs and full screen Tatsus. Listen, hey, you know what? I like that you're honest, Handful. I like that you're honest. You said, you know what it's about to be. Some CFN Ken today. But, you know, I feel like people say that and then they play super solid for those moments. It's the mind games. It's the mind games. I see you, Handful. I bet you can be super solid when it comes to your confirms and things like that. However, Ken is a solid character just in general. You know, Ken's a really good character. I feel like we talked about a lot, especially on PC. We can react to a lot of things, hit it from a lot better. I feel like that character is in a top spot. But Kage, even though he's not the best Shoto, or even close to being the best Shoto, he still has some good moments. I feel like he's really chaotic up in the neutral. If he gets those confirms that lead you in the corner, he has a lot of Oki off his DPs and things like that. His corner pressure is ridiculous. Those T-Rex arms do reach when you get in that close range gameplay in the corner. So Kage's still a good character, you know. Not as good as Ken, but he still got his moments, and his V-trigger situations are really nasty.
I think he's got a lot of big damage outputs off of like single hit confirms. I think he's got those, but in the corner he could be a little bit of a menace too. He does have some tricky gimmick stuff with trigger into demons and whatnot, and also has like combo extensions. He makes it look like a versus series game once he has his trigger. I think it's trigger 1 is what we're looking for the teleports, right? But we'll see how it plays out. I haven't seen a Kage in a very long time. The one character I have seen plentiful of as of late, Ken. Coming up, we'll see how this plays out between JD Cooper and Handful.
JD Cooper always get the target combo and the V skill, building up a little bit of V bar and pushing him to the corner. A Shaku Nets and a jump in. No anti from Handful.
Oh, we try to get the mix already. JD Cooper. That was sick. I didn't think it would catch the air fireball like that. I think JD Cooper had baited that out intentionally, but ended up getting caught in the twisting. It's a new thing. Ooh!
Motivation. Tatsu. Trying to find an opening. Yeah, when he's in that close range, those immediate punches get deadly.
You can throw again.
Handful backing off. Cross cut DP.
Yeah, he was going to get out no matter what. Yep. Very, very smart decision making from JD Cooper thus far. The EX uppercut into trigger, into the teleport. He was going to be just fine. I loved him taking that risk.
That being a 2-bar V-trigger means you're going to get that with the quickness, so expeditiously though. Handful, putting him in the corner, looking for that heavy kick barrage. Anti-hero coming from the side of JD Cooper. He is on points.
Oh, you're hella taking damage.
On the way down. And he waited for that too, with the max amount on the Tatsu. DP.
He had the same jump setup, and Handful still went for the EX uppercut. I appreciate that. Let's go, Handful. There we go. Yeah. Checking the run dash.
Teleport, no, you
yeah.
can't do that.
You're
He'd
hella
have proven
dead.
it. EX Tatsu, yes sir.
Nice work. Handful not falling for any of the shenanigans. JD Cooper should have thought twice about that. But to be fair, how often do we get to see V Trigger 2 Ken?
Not too often. Unless it's like Muscle Noob, it's not very often we get to see that loadout from a lot of players.
I think mostly for the Fireball, I think JD Cooper just hasn't been familiar with it. But for the most part, a lot of players have been gravitating towards it if they see a Fireball character. Right? Oh, this is going to be so dangerous.
On the tip of the toes.
Look at the amount of damage.
Talk with this corner pressure. At walk speed, the mediums.
Do it again.
Oh,
I love that from Handful. 2 steps ahead. Taking a low medium kick to back to stop the throw game. And I love that. Getting the bait. Yo, Handful. This man was a liar. I haven't seen a single full screen Tatsu. I've seen a lot of hovercopters, but I haven't seen any full screen Tatsus thus far. This guy has been lying.
I told you the mind games. All y'all were thinking it's going to be a CFN Ken. You thought it was going to be the things that you typically see in the lower ranks. Not today. Handful says, I got the neutral, and the hit confirms too. Caught JD Cooper walking back for the shimmy situation with that crouching unit kick and that V Trigger 2, deleting the air fireballs. Oh, he knows what to do.
How many times have we seen the V Trigger 2 land this far? That was a cross-cut attempt. We saw it. Handful tried it, but JD Cooper again, single hit confirms, man. Pretty big. Pretty big if you ask me. Does get Oki after that. There was a counter hit, but there was an air reset, so he thought he had the combo. JD Cooper instead gets himself punished. Trigger on deck for Handful, trying to jump in. No, sir. JD's been very on point with anti-airs thus far.
So up the feet, okay, not too bad. Looking for that VCO activation against the fireball. That'd be a good option, so Handful has to be careful about throwing a handful of fireballs, but he's a handful of damage right here.
Let it rock all the way through. Tatsu? Back throw is not going to be enough, is it?
That's got
it doesn't matter. JD Cooper, I don't know what it could have been. Maybe it could have been like a missed input. Like he might have pressed the button earlier.
Style it out. Unfortunate. Handful now on set point. The solid Ken. He's still down to the ground. Gonna make the most EXCP. There's that bust out on the delay.
That's got DP from JD Cooper as well. And he's still, man, JD Cooper has been super on point with anti-air and with using the uppercut. Oh, out of there. No, sir. Couldn't get out.
Can't jump in on him. If he's got that bar at the bottom, you cannot jump in on this dog. EX caught him on the way up to put him down. Handful. About to take this round.
Uh-oh. Might take the game if JD Cooper oversteps his boundaries. Don't get caught. There we go. Oh, we spent the EX4.
He wants that full corner carry.
Throw's going to do it.
EX
no, it doesn't work. JD Cooper ends up getting an uppercut to stop the Tatsu. And I can't, man.
Oh my God.
My mind is actually blown. I got to cover my mouth. Oh my God, my mind is blown.
I feel sick. I feel sick. He said, I don't even need to block this whack mix-up. I'm just going to hit it out.
That wasn't reversal timing either. That was an intentional DP from Handful. Oh my God. Oh my actual God. That's crazy. I'm so glad we're going to a break after this because that was actually unprecedented, unpredictable.
I'm
undeniably
like
godlike. That was undeniably godlike. This guy, somebody needs to sponsor this man. Like this guy. No, I'm not even joking. This guy can play. This guy legit can play. I love the way that Handful's playing right now.
I mean, he is playing. I mean, he played ridiculously, and obviously the jokes about EXCP, full screen EX tosses, and things like that. He used these things effectively. EXCP when he knew it was going to work on a delay rise, and that was so sick. Come on,
he's actually godlike.
Yo, that is Handful. You are more than a handful, but you have a handful of this bracket. It's not even close to being over. You have to deal with Fandroid coming up next for your next bout. Oh man, that Ken play is super sick.
Whew, man, I definitely need to take a breather on that one. So let's just chill for a little bit. Let's kind of contemplate, see what happened, right? We had 2 O's all across the board. We continue it over to the loser side as well. But I want to make sure you guys fully understand what's to come, right? We do have the rest of top 16 losers. We also have a game. It's actually coming out pretty soon for those that don't know. Just to let you guys know, Street Fighter Duel, the Capcom authorized mobile game, It's now available for download in China, with a global version coming out real soon. The epic legend is reborn on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now, and let's fight for each other and join the journey with millions of players to become the best fighter.
And if you're hungry for some more CPT action, we'll have more coming up your way next week. We have the CPT Asia East. Registration will be closing soon. Head on over to CapcomProTour.com for more information on how you, too, can compete and register for your region's events. So, people, we had some great action, some great Ken play today, and we're not going to stop. When we return from this break, even more Middle East action coming your way. Don't go nowhere.
Time to fight, time to fight. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand after defeat. So fight, time to fight. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are street fighters.
We've got 4 more seats to fill, and it's still getting hot and heavy for the Middle East. This is the Capcom Pro Tour 2022. Vicious here with St. Cola. We've got so much to go through in the pool of sharks, and I gotta say, there's not a body of water within them, but I gotta say, too, is that these guys have been phenomenal thus far. The last matchup, before we got into the break, I gotta say, Handful is actually pretty godlike. That was an excellent match. As we take a look into the bracket as well, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I'm looking forward to seeing how Handful performs even more so against Fandroid. But as it stands right now, Swan Song, hailing from Jordan, going up against Broken Wing, hailing from Kuwait. Now, Swan Song, I haven't seen a lot of, but one thing that strikes my attention right now is the fact that they play R. Mika. And that's already a dangerous man. Broken Wing, using a character like Cammy. I understand Broken Wing no longer able to fly. Cammy has been kind of, she's been kind of, messed with a little bit. Her medium's a little bit worse off, and could be a little bit of a analogy with Broken Wing, but we'll see how it plays for the man himself. Again, hailing from Kuwait, really looking forward to seeing it because Broken Wing is currently 12th in the standings of the World Warrior events for the Middle East. So he's been pretty consistent thus far for these last couple of months. Really excited to see how this plays out. Mika versus Cammy. And if the Cammy doesn't work out, Broken Wing also has Akuma.
I feel like the Akuma might be the Broken Wing thing. Maybe that's the feeling. We can't say that now because he won, because Takamura won with Akuma last week.
That's what I'm saying. It makes sense, too, to have a name like Broken Wing and have a character arsenal of, like, Cammy and Akuma. Like, it's poetic. It's totally poetic, and I'm about it.
Yeah, don't be about this match. Going back to Mika, I feel like she's still strong. She's so great. We see Luffy be making waves out there with that character, and we see Fudo, too, as well. Having that hit from crouching meeting kick definitely helps out in her neutral. That she doesn't really have the best compared to other characters. And then she puts you in the corner. Everybody blends. So we'll see who's going to get the win out here. Let's see if that Akuma even comes into play. Starts off with a Cammy, though, from Broken Wing.
So really looking forward to it. Again, Mika, there's a very interesting thing about Mika, right? It's the amount of fear this character puts into a lot of people's hearts for reasons unknown. Like, we totally get it once it's in the corner, but as it stands right now, Broken Wing trying to be the aggressor, and Swan Song actually going pretty ham. We got the microphone performance. We get the drop kick plus frames after that. Broken Wing still forced to play second at bat.
Wow, he still won. Actually, able to get himself out of the corner and the EXTP. One good thing, at least for Cammy, is that she has many options to delete these strike throws off the table. 3-frame DP to a name. Crouch Fierce. Don't know what that was, but it's deleted off the table.
Oh, that's going to be severe punish. And the corner, that's what's so important now. Swan Song doesn't have to work as hard as putting the opponent in the corner. We saw a startup of a command grab. Not going to be enough. Broken Wing making the big interruptions. Here comes the Deschko with the chair.
The plus frames, good defense
Do it again.
here.
Oh, you could have interrupted. And it doesn't matter. That's so smart. The light kick DP to get past the throw, being throw invulnerable. Excellent decision. Excellent guess, really, from Broken Wing.
We've seen, Swan Song go for a lot of these command grabs and these normal throws, so it makes sense to go for that option. It also makes sense to cut through that V skill. But striking back like that in the counter hit is Swan Song.
Got the Brimstone. Trying to get something off of that neutral jump. Getting another neutral jump. Really trying to check. Okay, Broken Wing. Getting the big opener. Dire situation, peppering a lot of the mediums. We see that here, but now Swan Song jumping back over. Yes, sir. There's going to be a lot of mobility coming in from the Swan. Getting the big peach.
I like that because we've seen the V-skill option try to get out of the corner continuously, and I like that jump back. Finally read here by Swan Song, and stock up with the V-skill for a little bit more damage. Backing up, careful. Could be an EX, never mind. He's fine. Dash up command grab. Oh, he's talking to him.
That was sick. Oh, you actually could have converted off of the medium punch counter hit.
And the EXP from Oki.
Oh, you could have punished. He was just out of range. Swan Song wasn't ready for it.
This is going to hurt.
Hella damage as well. Back is broken. Damn!
Ooh, check the red.
That's like a third of his life.
She's almost dead. Air to air right there. The jump, heavy kick in the dash. And Swan Song says, I will not be deterred to get that grip to do it.
That was literally 3 command grabs to kill somebody. So to be fair,
it's Cammy.
2 of them were enhanced by the microphone. I get it. The microphone performance giving you a little bit of that extra, but damn, 3 command grabs, 3 guesses for games? That's hard, yo.
That's where the fear comes from. You let her stock up like that, yeah. Now you get the fear. Now you understand. But you have to let her stock up for that that damage to rack up. So like,
yeah.
if you're Broken Wing out here, you have to go for these EX spiral arrows and things like that. You have to
You
stop
letting
them
him
coming
talk
in.
it out? You're so
Bro!
smart.
Without
was
the
so
bar, you're
smart.
not worried about anything unless he's in that close range.
I love him utilizing the armor too. Broken Wing thinking he could get past it. Oh, it was a bad mishap. And now Broken Wing is angry. Turning into Angry Bird.
So how's it feel to be up in the corner?
Yeah, and I love that. V-Shift has been the answer against the ambiguous setup that Broken Wing has had. Off with an anti-air. EX dive kick into the uppercut. Yep, you already know. Broken Wing back at it.
In reverse of things, though, dealing with Mika, at least you have the V-Shift and V-Break this season, so extra defense on the deck to deal with the character. But the hits connect off that medium, the party starter, big jump in.
Snap.
That's going to be the stun.
Big Chungus. Look at the damage. Unorthodox reset. We'll take those. You know you're not dead.
What? She's still alive? Did her health get nerfed?
Crouching jab, nice and easy. Swan song. I like that. I like that a lot. Yo, near perfect. We'll take those. Who would call those near perfects? Ooh, that is a mean-spirited course of action. That was actually mad personal.
And I took that personally. However, Broken Wing trying to answer back. As soon as I see that, Swan Song waking up with violence continuously. We have not seen him check all these Oki situations. Air to air right there with the jump heavy kick. And that actually should be it. Oh,
not quite.
One bit. How is he still alive?
Oh, Broken Wing. Yo, Swan Song gave it to him. Swan Song actually gave it to him on a silver platter. There was a little bit of a, mistiming the combo to have Nadeshko come through. I think there was another sequence he could have had to add like maybe an extra hit before the EX Peach, but either way, yo, Swan Song barely missed the cut to make it into round 2. But that's going to be great for Broken Wing, right?
Yeah.
All tied up, one game apiece.
I like how they're getting more aggressive in these round starts, even middle of the ground.
Yeah.
Not letting that B skill get stocked up. You have to not let that happen because we've seen those grips come through from Swan Song. And we'll see what happens here. More of the drop kicks, less of the B skills, just getting more aggressive round start is Swan Song. A nice buffer. Again, he wakes up with buttons damn near every single time. He's not getting checked for it, so why not?
Another counter hit. Still waking up with buttons. Yo, Broken Wing hasn't applied the meaty correctly, and that's not the damage we're looking for. Swan Song.
Oh, did it again. DP, Broken Wing, still getting clipped again. These wake-up decisions. Before his eyes are open, he's already swinging.
Before he could even walk, he was swinging.
At the doctor, too.
He swung back at the doctor for slapping.
How dare you? Oh, Swan Song on set point. Jump light kick. Love that option. He cross up. But doesn't want to get gripped into the corner. No back throw. Again, the neutral situation from that jump light kick has been reaching this character.
No conversion from Swan Song. He's looking for something big, but I don't think it's going to come out anytime soon if Broken Wing continues to beat him down. Yes, sir. Backdash into EX Spiral Arrow. Checking the movement against Swan Song. Damn, Nadeshko still violating after the round's over? Come on, man.
So
Just smacking people with the chair. The round's over, man.
Foul game final round. Too far for the EX Hooligan. Runs it raw to make it fall. Oh, Swan Song. Probably saw a button in the distance and definitely saw that DP. Again, not the biggest punishes, though, coming from Swan Song.
Oh, you're
but this might be the last song that Broken Wings has.
Oh, boy, the Irish Whip. Reset.
One more reset.
Command grab.
Oh, you caught this!
I've seen this man contemplating holding down as soon as the air reset happens. I'm like, I know exactly which direction he's holding. He's holding down forward. You think it's down back for a block? No, sir. That is down forward. Yo, Swan Song diving in headfirst to danger, only to take the Broken Wing with him.
That's why the name is what it is. Swan Song floating their way through the loser side. Man, oh man, was that dangerous play. And to be honest, it could have been even more dangerous. We saw a lot of EXDPs run for free on block. Could have been a lot more damage on the table. However, Swan Song had a lot of disrespectful sequences. The V skill getting stocked up made him drop with a quickness. It's just shoring these things up that he'll have to do as he makes it through the bracket. But either way, man, this is why we fear this character. This disrespectful play. This is why we fear. In the scramble situations, you're just so afraid of the options that she can present.
Just jump, man.
It's like, yeah, just jump, but then you get pieced up in the corner, and it's like, set point situations.
It's a lot harder than that, that's for sure. I just like trolling.
No, you're right, but yeah.
I think there's a lot to be said in regards to like meter management as well for Broken Wing, like maybe utilizing the V shift a little bit more often. But to not sugarcoat it, I gotta say, man, like Swan Song got away with a lot of wake up buttons. That's genuinely one of the biggest things that you could look out for. Like when you watch the footage back, I think there's a lot that could be taken away from it, right? Broken Wing not being able to get as many of the meaties or prevent Swan Song from pressing buttons on wake up.
Right.
I think there's a lot that could be changed there to make it a little bit more of an even match, or even like a match in your favor. But as it stands right now, Swan Song gets to sing another song, going up against Beam the Gamer in round 2, but not before we talk about Talu 150 versus Tahul. Now Talu coming in from Saudi Arabia, damn it, I did it again. Tahu coming in from Oman.
All right, Tahul. Yo, I like to see Lucia play. We've been seeing a lot of Lucia in the past couple of months. A character that people said was dead. People said couldn't operate, couldn't work. We've seen it at the Midwest. We've seen it in Street Fighter League Japan continuously. And now we're starting to see it in more of these World Warrior tournaments and even the CPT tournaments too as well. Like, I get it that there are better characters, but she still does things that are, appreciable up in the corner. So great to see this player come through with this character. And on the side, also Vega. What am I saying? Vega. When do we get to see Vega come through besides Metro M in the U.S. in sort of those situations? So this will be a fun matchup that we don't get to typically see. Y'all are in for a treat.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of speculation as to who's going to get the best of who for this specific matchup. But that set was actually going to be, as you see from Detested Hunter. We were talking about that set earlier. No footsies, just smashing each other in the face. I feel like that was also kind of the case with the Ken versus Kage match between Handful and JD Cooper. But I digress. Going into it, I feel like this is going to be a lot more ground-based, slower pace between Vega and Lucia. For the most part, I want to know what it's going to be like for this particular matchup, just because it's like you have two different dynamics, right? You have sort of like the keep away play style with Vega. Then you have kind of like the up close and personal with Lucia. I think both characters can probably carry to the corner pretty well. Lucia specifically.
Yeah.
When
Especially
she gets
V-Trigger.
V-Trigger,
Oh, God.
she goes literally from coast to coast. I kid you not. She gets frequent fire miles every time she pops V-Trigger. Vega, on the other hand, I get it with you get the private jet with the rose. You get, from one instance to the other. I get that, yeah. But I think out of two characters, I think damage output for Lucia might be a little bit better.
Yeah, it can be with V-Trigger. It's been enhanced this season, so for good reason you might see them dump it out for that point. But the sweep off the feet, the raw stuff, the side switch. Already getting the jump ins. This is a bad situation. EX, oh my God, the reset! Off the back row with the EX Sky High Claw.
This guy, Talu, is dancing, yo. He's actually dancing. Oh, well, in front of him, did the stance change? Or putting away the claw, technically. There we go, the standing medium punches. Gets the baton out. Hurricane spinner.
Ooh, the reset situation,
that
the cross
was
up.
messed up.
Yeah, you nasty for that one.
He changed the timing of the jumping to get the cross up. That's messed up.
I haven't seen that one in a while.
I haven't seen that one ever.
Boxing with the medium, I like that. Utilizing that medium punch button. It's such a good button to keep you locked down. And the EXDP lets it rip for free right there.
Oh my God. Just ran into it. Unfortunate. Utilizing the walk speed proper. Talu now gets the keep. Tahul. Oh, so I thought. Went for the claw instead.
Finish up the fireball. DJ
You
call
are
him
sick.
leaving. As soon as he's on the feet up the ground, he said, I'm taking you down.
My man straight up just did empty, what was it, like empty jump uppercut? Come on now.
Come on now. Big spar at the bottom. And V-Trigger on the side of Tahul. He wants that hit confirm to put him in the corner, though. Like not to activate it raw. Oh.
I understand the sentiment behind it. More than enough damage. No, sir. I lied. Tahul in dire straits. Yeah. Eventually, the EX Sky High Claw was going to come out. Yo, Talu has shown off that card on more than one occasion. I think Tahul is going to be a little bit difficult for him to manage, even trying to react to it. Even like some of the best players get hit by that.
Yeah, I feel like it might be a good prevented option when the fireball start up. So maybe that's also the reason why he's been running it. There's also EX Roll 2 as well that he can utilize. Sweep under the feet. Maybe doesn't even need to use the EX bar at all. Oh, EXDP puts him in the corner. Make the most of this. The trade.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine for Talu. Tahul breaking out with the EX uppercut. Still not able to apply immediate after that. That's just how the world works. Not after an EX. Talu still looking for the spacing too. You're not a Vega player unless you slide, that's for sure.
Itch you have to scratch. EX again. He's been so lucky with that catching and leaving. Trying to find a jumping situation. Even though he's been denied with the DPs, it doesn't matter. And then again, another EX Sky High Claw.
So smart with it too. We're getting a little bit of a dance off too. Talu switching between claws and no claws. Oh, that could have been it. He actually had the throw bait. A medium would have been more than enough damage. You're actually going to be dead, I think.
Take him in the corner. The super.
No, you're living. I thought you could have extended the combo just a little bit more, but yeah, him going into critical art, there was a little bit too much buffering, or sorry, too much scaling involved.
I like that. Immediately leave the corner. You do not want to be in the corner as Vega tried to scam him. Didn't work out, but I feel like a crouch kick could have reached at that point. Still.
Maybe even like a sweep. Sweep is also fast enough to do it.
7 frames. He's going to do it raw, though. No bar necessary.
Man came in with a Superman punch. Just whoosh. That was unnecessary, man. He just came in there and just busted down the wall, just right in front of him. I did not expect the round to end that way, nor would I expect it to end that way ever in any sort of circumstance.
Even without bar, I mean, bar makes sense. It's hard to react to. But without bar, he's just like, you know what? I feel like it's going to work. And it did. He takes the round in his first to 2. Let's see what it do. There's one more game to play possibly. But I don't know. This is looking dicey.
That was messed up, man. You're going to Superman punch somebody in the face raw, too? Like, no EX behind it. Not even the claw.
Not
like,
even the
you
claw.
didn't even extend your range. It was just a bare-knuckle Vega. God.
He's riding that momentum, getting that stun immediately, expeditiously, getting Grizzly, clawing this man up. Puts the roll on him. Neutral jump. That's why you haven't kept him in the corner.
Perdon gets the back throw now. In control. I love the fact that the Hurricane is more consistent, hitting from behind. It doesn't matter. Yo, Talu even readjusted. This guy's so sick. This guy's actually super sick. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of a lot of these players right now.
The scene's
the trade.
Still?
Yeah, he gets the trade off of that. So sick too.
Because we talk about the bad anti-airs of this character, like sometimes go for the trade, get this good situation, put him in the corner. Tawu, pressuring him over and over again, stand switch situation, EX.
That was so deep. Getting plus frames after that. Talu gets interrupted. Tahul now gets a trigger activation, gets a reset as well. Forward throw. What happens? Peppering the mediums. A lot of frame trap possibilities. There it is right there. It does get the counter hit.
Caught him lacking, caught him slacking. That's done. Go for a reset situation. Show me something nice. Shoulder tackle. Try to get that throw bait.
Oh, you're
Let's
dead.
get the crouch meaty kick. Go for the super. Spin the win. Oh, just the EXDP. We'll get that situation. That B trigger, being able to extend these combos. I see you, Tawu. You ain't done yet. I ain't hear no bell.
Oh, time comes out for the RCF. Yo, Talu trying to roll on in there. EX. Whatever it was, it knocked Lucia sky high, but there was a fireball startup. Hence why the trade happened.
Yeah, it's -2. Yeah, take back your turn. Trying to apply that medium punch pressure. Careful these fireballs. You've seen them getting got, but it was a bait the entire time. Nice. The fadeaway to get that DP play.
The movement as well. Tahul just inching his way forward. Does get a punish on the roll. Sorry, the back dash. Not back dash. Sorry, it's V-skill.
A little ambiguous.
I like that. Yeah, Tahul no longer afraid of the claw.
Waste the bar for Tahul. But Tahul with a ton on their side. The roll gets it meaty. Off that medium. Could be enough.
Command grab. Oh, I thought it was a command grab too. I totally get it. It's going to be Talu. Moving on 2-0. We're starting to see a trend here. A pretty impressive one at that. Again, Talu with the very active Spaniard ninja. We got Vega 2-0 against Lucia. A pretty rare character. We haven't really seen Vega nor Lucia as much, but it's really impressive to see the way that Talu is moving pretty much about the screen. I think his offensive capabilities are there. I would love to see that a little bit more moving on. But Tahul also, there were a couple of decisions he had made a little bit reluctant to do like certain things in terms of check Talu in neutral. But for the most part, the offense is there. Like, the combos are there and whatnot. But we start to see the building blocks. Man, that was just unfortunate. He just ran into it.
He really just ran into it to get the W. But it's just things like that where like matchups are more beyond just what the characters are doing. It's like the player to player. And I think that after that had happened, it kind of changed the timeline a little bit because Tawu was able to stay a little bit more solid in sequences. and caught him right there for that stun and done. Man, this Vega player is sick. And you can definitely tell how sick he is because he had the trade combo too as well. That just shows me that he's got more in the tank than just, I'm going to send these moves out, I'm going to say randomly, but I'm going to do these risky instances. He knows what he's going to get off. He's weighing the risk and reward, and his reward is to move in this top 16 losers bracket.
As it stands right now, a whole lot of 2-0s, even at the top of the board too, with the winner's side. But Swansong and Broken Wing being the only ones keeping it close 2-1. That actually almost went down to the wire in terms of the rounds played. But we still have plenty more to go. Round 2 is just about to be underway, coming out real soon.
Linku versus Ice Candy. It's going to be some Zeku versus Karen play. Looking at this matchup from previously, I felt like Zeku was kind of on the back foot a little bit, or maybe even, but now that her buttons have been whiff punishable, a little bit more whiff punishable, I should say, it should help out Zeku, and his crouch mid kick has gotten better. He's able to go into crouch mid kick, into tech, and things like that to dump out even more damage, and he's just a more solid character this season, so it might be a little bit more in Zeku's favor, possibly, but either way, we've seen things not go according to plan or on paper, so we'll have to see what the gameplay is more like.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a couple of matches where we've seen like Infectious utilize Zeku for a while now. Also, you know, pioneering that character to greater heights. I've seen matchups between like Punk and Infectious from back in the day a good amount of times too. I think there's a good amount of ground control that Karen can take advantage of. I think it goes pretty even in terms of the ground game, but having the option to switch stances too to kind of play that spacing game with old Zeku is going to be a pretty big threat too.
Yeah, the aerial approach we've seen him take advantage of quite a bit with it. The Bushin flips and just the normal jump-ins have been part of that game plan. So you have to be on your toes with the Standing Fierce or EX for Senha, just an anti-air on the perfect range. But either way, we'll have to see what that play is going to be. I'm excited to see Ice Candy. They do have the Ed if things get bad. I'm not sure how Ed versus Karen goes this season. We don't get to see that match typically because, again, Karen players have left her to the side. Even though she's still strong, you just have to be careful about the economy of buttons that you spin.
Man, that's a matchup I'm looking forward to as well, man. I got to say, like, Ed versus Karen is going to be something
That'd be
to
dope.
expect. We'll talk about that in a different circumstance. But as it stands right now, it's going to be Ice Candy versus Linku. Linku fell just short against GTR from the winner's side. So we're going to see how that Karen gets to play off again. It's someone who's a little bit more active. Ice Candy getting the standing heavy punch target combo. Already off to a pretty aggressive start. He's been commanding the pace a lot, and I've seen this standing heavy punch land more often than I have this entire year.
To be honest.
This matchup.
Swift punishable button, easy to jump in on, but he's been able to time it just right. There's that crush meter kick, doesn't convert into anything big, but will do so right here. EX, of course. Waiting for that stun, gets it done. That wog sweep, able to keep her in the game. One more decision after this.
Oh. Still a ton of plus frames being applied. Linku, and I love that from Ice Candy, actually getting the jump jab, getting a full-on reset. Now he has to force the. Ooh.
Still good. He has Geek Spark. Yep. Swinging that fierce out one too many times. And Linku finds a whip punish and saves the bar for the next round going down. That means we could see a super closeout right here from Linku.
I mean, we're going to see at least some of the bar being spent early off of the giant confirm. I think one single hit confirm from Linku could lead to a lot of damage. There's a trade combo. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Linku changing up the timing of the Orochi, getting the big trade combo against Ice Candy. And now a single hit can do it.
That's done. It's done.
That's all she wrote. Taking it down against Ice Candy. Oh, with extra damage peppered in. Yeah, that's a giant game one for Linku.
So dominant against a character that has great walk speed, great normals and things like that. Not whiffing anything. Yes, things have been nerfed for Karen. Yes, her crouch mini kick, medium punches, standing heavy kick have been nerfed. But if you're not whiffing, if you're getting those hits, you're still solid with her. She's still a solid character. Her walk speed, still a threat. Her damage, still a threat. Get those hits to connect, get those W's. It's not over yet, though. But I do like the game plan. I like the confidence that we see from Linku.
I think the difference between the ground game for these two characters, right? I think, Linku can deal a ton of damage off of these single hits, whereas young Zeku can occupy a little bit more space than Karen can.
Yeah, with the mediums. But you can just walk back against young Zeku. You're only worried about crouching mini kick unless it's confirmed into V-trigger. But there's no V-trigger one right here to keep you solid right there off that slide. The throw. One more hit will do it. Caught it pressing a button.
Oh, get it again. That was the counter hit between I think there was a normal in between, but I don't know what Ice Candy opted to do in between that sequence. You get the Bushin flip from the start. I like that from Ice Candy.
Heavy kick. Caught a counter hit. Yep, tacky stun. He's got the V-Scope too, so he could go for, some animals. There we go. Let me see those sick resets. Santo plus frames. No lane. All damage. One more touch. I love that mix.
Nice and easy for Ice Candy. Looking like he's starting to wake up, trying to put himself on the board. That was a perfect, by the way. Not being able to contest against the Bushin run. Down him next. Puts himself towards the corner. It's going to be a little bit of a problem. EX% up. That was actually super tricky, too. The very last second.
Very smart. Sends it out. That's risky, but this finds some reward and builds up some V-bar. Counter hit. Too far off for the light Koku. Linku striking back.
Oh, again, Sigil confirms it's exactly what she's about. Oh, you're dead. You're actually dead.
Stun.
That's all she wrote. Linku finishing off the job. Yeah, another 2-0 on the board. And Linku, in very similar fashion, getting the critical art finish 2-0 against Ice Candy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves another candidate for our top 8. It is going to be Linku, hailing from Kuwait.
Fantastic play to be so dominant against a character that can dish out damage. We talked about them crouch community kicks and those buttons being whiff punishable. If they're not whiffing, you're A-okay. You're getting those hit confirms, you're fine. And just also these trade combos, again, show me if you got trade combos that you're definitely about this character. You definitely understand how to play this character. You definitely have the spatial awareness to compete at the highest level. And look at that fierce that we were talking about for the Zeku being just whiffed out or actually finding hits. Finally whipped, he got the hit, and that took it off the table. And I also feel like Ice Candy was not in ult quite a bit, allowing a lot of these jumping situations to come through and these pressure sequences. No V-bar spent for anything besides, well, I don't think we saw any V-trigger at all. No V-reversal, no V-shift for that defense. So if you're running young, to get out of this pressure, you have to spin that V-bar, or you switch to ult for EXDP. Otherwise, you're getting hit for free.
Yeah, it's been a problem, I think, for Ice Candy being able to utilize his V-gauge to its utmost potential defensively, right? Just being bombarded by frame trap after frame trap. I think, Karen does a very fantastic job of keeping their opponents contained in the corner. So you have to take those risks, or at least, try to fight back with that V-gauge. But that's a story for another time. Linku, again, being able to move on into the top 8.
We're going to move on to talking about Street Fighter Duel. The mobile Street Fighter game, Capcom authorized mobile Street Fighter game that is now available to download in China with a global version coming soon. The epic legend is reborn on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now and let's fight each other and join the journey with millions of players to become the best fighter.
And we're still looking for the best fighter so that we can unlock even more of the CPT tracksuits. I had actually logged in the other day and I got some pretty cool pieces of information showing me that, hey, I got some character colors unlocked for me with the tracksuit. I do like that. As you guys can see, again, we have so many more events to go through to get some more of these colors out there for some of your favorite characters, right? So again, support some of your favorite players, favorite scenes, because if they unlock if they win a CPT spot with your favorite character, well, guess what? You get all those colors for free. Eventually, they'll all be unlocked by the time the Capcom Pro Tour for the year ends. But as it stands right now, too, you could fight out with fight money. You could just, grind out some of the games you can, and just buy it yourself. But again, the tracksuit colors, be sure to see it coming your way either via the Champions or towards the end of the Capcom Pro Tour. Ladies and gentlemen, we still have plenty more to go to. Specifically, 3 more matches. Let me switch it up. Boom. There we go. Not the American way. 3 matches on the loser side to get ourselves ready for that top 8. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be pretty hot and heavy. Still continuing on after this quick break.
Time to fight. Time to fight.
So then, you really want to go through the trouble? Fine.
Oh, we caught him in air! Real back at to see is like, if this is your first time tuning into Street Fighter League, where have you been? We've been waiting for you.
It's Street Fighter League.
Looks like I can have a little fun now.
We're about to take you on a mad, wild journey.
Oh my God. I was actually in awe.
Street Fighter League is coming to see who is the best in the world. And I'll tell you right now, it's only the beginning.
I will fight you.
Gachiku!
Oh wow,
Gachiku. Oh, that is really unfortunate. You saw that exchange right there. We've seen Sakunoka whip punish it a couple of times, but the jump bags, Kino stealing it all back from Gachiku. You can't jump in the corner! What are you doing? Oh!
Oh my God, just 1 second left and it runs
so
out the
clutch.
Just teasing, just lots of tea. Get the kettle warmed up.
And he gets the stun. That was nasty.
It's even more an international players ball. We're getting players from all over the world. And I said it before, but we're getting the best players here to show you guys off.
No time to be wasted.
I think there's gonna be more than enough to jump in.
There's no escape.
That was actually perfect.
That was actually ridiculous. Can I get the digital scissors on that?
Let's begin.
Look, if you're at home watching, please know that you're watching history right now. Best players in the world. This is a dope set of Street Fighter.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking for the pinnacle of Street Fighter V, look no further.
Sometimes I hunt for this.
Look at the crowd going mad.
Oh my God.
That's gonna do it. Gachiku got it. He is your champion.
Hold up.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
no.
Whips. What was that?
Flip that. Was that the
That was so sick.
He is your back-to-back champion. Ladies and gentlemen, the new guard takes out the legend.
This one is where dreams are made.
I said everything.
USA invades the stage.
And I cannot express how much this means to Cool
But this morning I chose to wake up. Everything.
There's no escape.
Anything. Everything. I swear I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Bring it on. It's not enough. Let's party. Everything. Tell them I'm ready for anything.
You have just tuned in to the culmination of years of work.
Direct the other way. Somebody call an ambulance. Not for me, but for you.
Is the best, without a doubt, Street Fighter V player in the world.
So don't you ever think y'all gon' let me down. Woo! Swear right now I'm ready to fight.
We're down to the nitty gritty, the last three matches of today's top 16 out here at the CPT Middle East. My name is St. Cole. I'm joined with Vicious for the last match of the day. How are you feeling about what we're about to see?
You know, I'm kind of curious to see how these guys are going to fare up against those that came down from the winner's side, right? We had Fandroid versus Handful coming up after that. It's going to be Bean the Gamer versus Swan Song, then Bashar versus Chalu. I got to say, like, there's going to be a lot of swinging going on in the loser side. To be quite honest with you, I think there's going to be a lot of anticipation as to who's going to make it into the top 8. You know, Fandroid, we've seen pretty much how he fared up against Big Bird. He actually almost took the game down had it not been for the big luck factor from Big Bird, right? That very small magic pixel after the critical art had landed from Fandroid just wasn't enough. So kind of curious to see how he pretty much rebuttals from that. Handful also being the Ken Gamer.
Ooh.
This man has been a big liar, first and foremost. He lied in his pregame quote, saying, you know, we're going to see a bunch of full screen Tatsus. We didn't see one, by
Not
the
a
way.
single one.
But we did see a handful. See what I did there? A handful of EX uppercuts from the Ken main, and that was actually mad fun to see. So I'd imagine Fandroid, he must have taken notice from it. I hope he has. Because if not, he's eating a ton of damage. He's going to be eating a ton of damage if he doesn't pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, Fandroid, as you pointed, was like just steps away from taking some of these rounds. And I feel like if you watch your matches back after that, what you should be doing, saying, okay, I just need to solidify these things right here, these hit confirms right here, these combos right here. You might be able to take it, but I got to go back to Handful. Like, he was a handful in that match. We saw the matchup knowledge that he exhibited. We saw the use of that V-Trigger too, and also the trade combos too as well. I mean, this dude's ridiculous. Like, despite what he had told us, yes, he was a liar, he definitely's got the neutral of the gods. Let's see if he can take down someone like Fandroid to move on to top 8 tomorrow.
This is going to be it for these two players. Again, this is from the loser side. It's going to be 2 out of 3. And regardless, again, big ups to all of them that have shown out to play here. Very aggressive already. Yo, Handful just dashing up and then checking Fandroid immediately with a roundhouse. This guy is solid. I like his aggression. He's very well-rounded. And I'm going to say just the way that he's been playing. Okay, a little bit too close to comfort on the roundhouse. You do get punished off of that.
Fandroid don't confirm on that crouch medium kick. And then, again, space out that heavy kick to make sure it's not whip punishable. Ooh, there's what DPs want to see from Fandroid. And that walk-in throw, the confidence now coming through from the droid.
Handful still trying to... Oh, that was a little bit awkward.
Ball seam hands fireball. The roll Tatsu. There you go. It was a bait setup the entire time, but he's not fine. This is a ton of damage. You're pretty much dead.
Oh, you're not.
I went for the hits after that.
That was sick. Handful going past the thermal Barret. Plus frames after that. Rising! Yo, Fandroid, you are a beast. My man just shot out the rising uppercut. Made me even quote the damn quote, or the special move. That was raw. That was actually super raw.
And he barred the bump for the EX to stay solid, but he said, I'm going to bet it all. And now he's about to make handful fall.
Uh-oh.
Baits out the EXDP. This is going to be a stun. Oh, he does it expeditiously. Stops it for the V skill. If he can get this grip, might be able to do it.
Uppercut. Yeah. Just within like 2 jabs. Oh, it's 1. Oh, well, a cross glide kick will do it. We'll definitely take that. Fandroid taking it pretty convincingly in the second round, but it looked definitely in Handful's favor for a little bit. I will say, though, that was a great rebuttal. The mental stack was 100% adding up, I feel like, for Handful.
And the side of Fandroid, seemed like they're a lot more confident in their confirms and also their combos, too, as well. Obviously, it's easier when the HDP flies like that, but to have that conversion, to have that opportunity, shows that you are a Luke player, because you have to have that with the character. We talked about this previously before we went live. You're not a Luke player unless you have them combos on the deck. You got to access all that damage, what he's known for.
Oh. Just slugging it out. No conversion from Handful. We did see the low medium kick kind of ring out, but now Fandroid actually committed to the target combo thinking he landed a hit, but it's all Handful now. He shift out of there. No whiff punish. We saw the low medium kick there. Uppercut, trying to get a jump in. Handful.
He's fireball. I like that. Makes him fall. Heavy kick, looking for a crushing some fireballs, but now he's off the backboard. Yo, Fandroid so ready, so steady, gets a walk-up throw, and now we are seeing set point.
This man's stealing, man. He did an enhanced flash knuckle from left field, and it hit.
Handful. Without that heavy kick, I like that jump in. Instead of just looking for the on-block punch situation, EXDP though from Handful, never mind.
X-Tatsu, Fandroid just barely off the mark that Handful had intended. Thermal Bear continuing the combo, charging up the V skill. That's going to be a solid hit. No, sir. In fact, he just went for Sandblaster V-Trigger. Could have gone for a little bit more.
Oh, recovered in time. Heavy kick is fine, though. Here's the activation of the corner carry. Enhanced fireballs will definitely help out, but not if you put it on block like that. That's a wrap. Android taking advantage of that overhead situation.
Yeah, getting a punish. Handful of bet it all, trying to get a meaty, or trying to get some sort of overhead against Fandroid. I don't even know if it being meaty enough would have been safe for him. I think just that decision alone was a very risky one at that. But that's the kind of playstyle we expected from Handful. Live by the sword, die by the sword. He was totally happy with even coming up with that decision. So not going to be too down and out about it. I feel like Handful, just another dude who's trying to have fun. And I really appreciate both his attitude towards the game and his gameplay itself.
Yeah. Even though some of these players have lost, I like seeing the skill set come through from them. The scores do not show out how skillful they are. They don't show out how good they are. But this is why we have these CPTs, why we have these World Warrior events, to showcase the players out here, to showcase them at their scene. Because I feel like, again, as things grow, as things go, maybe into a different game, possibly, if we get more of them traveling or being able to experience the world itself, we'll just say it. If they happen to play Street Fighter 6, being able to play that great netcode that's going to have, I feel like they're going to explode and really showcase more of the scene. This is why I love seeing the CPT, these regional events, these hidden talents that are no longer hidden now.
Yeah, and with the World Warrior events that have been happening month after month, we start to see more of the players from those specific scenes coming out the woodwork, and we're starting to see kind of like more people actively playing, even towards the end of the life cycle of Street Fighter V. I love seeing that, man. I get to see some of the names that I haven't seen before. I even talked to some of my brothers around the world. I'm like, yo, man, have you heard of this cat before? I actually haven't been able to research him. Oh, yeah, I kind of seen him in this and that event, right? And I even get to reach out to some of the players, too. They also say, it's good to see more of the players, consistently playing, even if it's not, as popular, or even if it's, the last part of the tour. Some people will wait for 6, but at the same time, it's you know what? We'll play anyway. And I like seeing that. I genuinely do.
Yeah, might as well just come through, get your things shored up, your hit confirms and stuff like that. Maybe not the same sort of system with 6, but the idea of practice can be there too as well. So it's great to see these players come through, and we have still more action coming for all of you. This has been the CPT Middle East. We have more in store as we get closer to that top 18 spot tomorrow on the dot.
Yeah, let's talk about the matchup at hand, right? Beam the Gamer going up against Swan Song. Swan Song had a pretty explosive Mika, taking it down over a Broken Wing. Beam the Gamer actually showed a lot of promise with that Ryu against Volcano Rosso in the winner's side, but also fell just a little bit short. Despite it being 2-0, Sankola had mentioned it earlier, the numbers won't necessarily tell the entire tale, right? So Beam the Gamer rocking that Ryu, really excited to see it, versus Swan Song Mika. Talking about it on paper, how does this matchup go? I feel like Ryu can control a lot of the wild stuff that Mika can present. One of the biggest things that I've talked about from previous seasons is that Mika won't necessarily be able to get in for free with the drop kick because of a couple of things, right? You could have a DP as a reaction, you could have V-Skill 1 as a reaction. There's a lot to be said with incoming also against Mika. The body splash can be null and voided with either uppercut or V-Skill as well. And fireballs have always been a big problem, I feel like, for our Mika.
Yeah, they've been difficult for her to deal with. She could drop kick at some distances, but it's so hard to deliberate where that's going to come because Heavy Punch Fireball is so quick this season. And the other change up, the variance of the fireballs in general for Ryu, allows him to make it ambiguous. So let's see what it do. You have to wait for the EX bar, make a bet on EX Peach to get through the zoning. And again, that's a big bet that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You got to be in that right distance, that right space.
Round 1.
We'll see how it goes. Here we go. Game number 1 between these two, Swan Song and Beam the Gamer. Uppercut. Yeah, can't get that jump in for free. Applying the media afterwards. And look at that, controlling the space with the mediums and getting a punish against the sweep. Beam off to a fantastic start, as it did in his previous showing on the winner's side. A lot of control from the young man.
Drop kick, lets it roll for free. Command grab. Not too bad, though. Oh, that's bad. Now into the mix. Off the backboard, the Irish whip.
That was mad ambiguous. Push stun, uppercut, crosscut that is. Oh, yo.
Wake up, EX.
What in the world?
Yo, you are different.
Rainbow swing. Wake up, EX rainbow swing. You cannot tell the face I'm making because it's gameplay time, but I will tell you, my God, this guy is a madman, Brimstonian.
He was a demon. Base out the DP. Been doing something different with the jump-in situations. But this is Beam the Gamer getting more of that pressure to get that EX Fireball. Immediate V reversal to take back that turn. Do not have the plus frames to deal with.
That's a lot of damage, especially taking out the Gray Life against Beam the Gamer. Swan Song Now taking a ton of damage himself. Are you close to dead? Oh, I thought it was gonna be stunned.
Yeah, somebody did it though. He had the bar at the bottom.
He did. He did. He could have done EX because of the fact that he was in trigger. Fist meets chair. I gotta say, in a rock, paper, scissors scenario, I never thought that would happen. Beat the Gamer taking the round off as well. Against Swan Song, we do get to see the microphone performance. Null and void by the fireball.
Able to stock up though, so next grip is gonna hurt. Yes, sir. Here comes the EX.
Calling off work. Back is broken. Spinal. Oh my God!
Sliding on in, but still he's being the Gamer, staying solid though. Stuns rising. B shifts away from danger. And again, has to deal with that fireball with a V reversal. Could go for V shift and things like that, but again, hard to deal with than other characters.
I see the attention there from Swan Song. Yeah, he does get the throw bait, nice and easy. Beam, the Gamer, getting the first W. Catching Swan Song pressing buttons where he shouldn't have pressed it. I gotta say, man, like I still have myself in this lax position only because it's like I don't want to get thrown off guard by another command grab on wake up. So I don't want to like fly back from my seat like I did last time.
It's good though that Beam stays solid after that situation. Normally when something wild like that happens, it takes a lot of gamers off their game plan. It's like, bro, you act like this, you live like this. However, Beam staying solid, he's like, that's just content for me. This is a YouTube video, you know?
We get to see himself, or he gets to see himself move on closer and closer to that top 8 spot and playing pretty solid, I will say. Like, there have been very much so instances of his fundamentals showing. Like, we see, like, the throw baits coming in. We see the crosscut DPs. We see, like, his decision-making after getting a hit going into V-Trigger to V-Trigger as well. Sorry, V-Trigger 1.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, I want to see what it's going to be like for Swan Song once he starts to be a little bit more wild. Like, as much as I like to deter the wild play in this season of the game, I feel like he needs to let it go. He needs to go in. He needs to go. He needs to go in even harder. He needs to make even wilder reads because it works sometimes. I think he needs to like chill on like forcing the play on the ground and wait for his moments like on wake up. I think like forcing Beam to be scared of his wake up is gonna be pretty good. But Ed's gonna be the character as much as the wild stuff that I was looking forward to, as much of the false things I was saying earlier would have been great info, but that's not going to be the case anymore. Ed's going to be the character coming up. V-Skill 2 past the fireball. I like that from Swan Song, knowing full well that Beam was going to try that out in the beginning.
Heavy kick. I like this. Looking for the fireballs. And gets in with the counter hit, falls. And this is unfortunate. You call up in the corner. I mean, he can still get wild with it. Not mild. He does the EXTP we've seen from the Ed Boys. There's the activation up from Beam, V reversal. Puts him in the corner, but he is not deterred to get out of this corner. Hold this throw. All the way to EXTP baits it out. Big punish right here. Beam's going to put him in the corner a little bit. Charge up fireball to catch the V-ship preemptively, but wakes up with like, you want to be wild? We can get wild.
He whiffed. He whiffed the meaty. Beam actually could have got it. Could have got the stun. Just didn't get it in time. He didn't get the normal in time. What?
Oh. Had a crumple, was able to take care of it. And Swan Song keeps putting himself in the corner.
Oof. Oh, big punch off the roundhouse. Swan Song gets all this corner to himself. A ton of chip damage too from the flickers. We see the throw bait. We're starting to see a habit from Swan.
Jab check, Calm coming in EX, trying to get that knockdown to get out of this corner. We'd rather not have to spin that V-bar for defense. But here's offense from Swan Song. Caught him walking in again, but no big conversions. EXTP lets that sucker rip. Look at the reward. Oh, the wake up option within the combo. Gonna finish the plate.
Tag, trying to dash back in there. EX uppercut. Yo, Swan Song just as wild with another character. My man did a flicker and immediately went for an EX uppercut against Beam. He just got caught by it.
Life has many doors, and the door to victory might be the Ed play today. I mean, you can still get wild with this character. We've seen the EXTPs just kind of, even if they don't fly out, you're just worried about them because you know the Ed player is just hunting, hungry for it, hungry to interrupt these things, or just hit you with that, just dash up or whatever. Now we're seeing game to game right here. Not for nothing, though, Beam. Oh, I was going to say that Beam just needs to solidify a few things with the dash. And
2 times.
Deer headlights.
Dashes. He got high beam. That's what it was. Oh yeah, checking the dash this time. Low forward Tatsu with the side switch. The roundhouse version. Solar plexus getting blocked. And now we see the flicker coming in from Swan Song, but still a lot of maneuvering from both sides. Yeah, we see that being put to a halt. Being gamer. Putting crouching medium punch to stop the dash.
Oof. EXDP again. Bad situation of V-Ship. Didn't have the bar for the extension, but this is still good. As Swan pushes in the corner with the 1-2-3. DP from Bean has been on point for the anti-airs at least. It baits it out intentionally. See that button come through. Slow reversal. He takes advantage. Dash up, heavy kick. It's gonna be a lot.
Checker fool. Just to throw his touch away, and Bean knew it as well. Yo, you're still able to press a button? BTG actually gets beaten down by Swan Song with the flicker, thinking, you know, maybe Swan Song won't press a button this time. He did.
He needs to turn up. Like him stay outside the distance for the V skill. So kind of maybe bait something out with the fireball and the crouch union kick, but they just going to get that win. Sweep off the feet for the knockdown. Heavy addition. Hold this throw, bro. Stun is rising.
Oh, that's huge.
It's great because you think that he's going to back off before Fierce comes through with the shoulder flex. Swan Song, not done yet.
Look at the amount of carry he gets. Oh, no, it's a fake side switch. I love that. But either way, Beam the Gamer very fortunate enough to get this damage. Tried to finish it with an overhead. Swan Song woke up with the button. The trigger is winding down, too.
That's true. One sequence, and after that, in the super, for Swan Song will let him move on to top 8. Guard break. Counting out the area right there.
Man, the no look. Look, he even tucked his head in like, just in case he's like, I don't mean to do this, and it just hits you with the elbow. Animation-wise, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Target front around. EX spins the bar for that ambiguous setup, but just wakes up with violence beam. Knew they get that reversal, but one coming from Swan Song with the EXDP.
Let's get the back throw. Beam trying to reset the situation. You see Swan Song just charging right in. Back-to-back V-skills anticipating a fireball. You get to charge up for an unblockable. Instead, he goes for it. I like that.
The course run. Gets it done. EX fireball. Beam. Routing it back. Says, I want the mild, not wild out here as he takes down Swan Song and stays solid, baiting out the EXDPs, baiting out a lot of these options, and staying fine in the face of the fire of those ridiculous mix-ups that were about to come with the jump-in lights and stuff. Yo, Beam. That's more content for you as you go through the top 8 tomorrow.
I do like that. I like that a lot. Again, choosing to be mild, I gotta say, he picked definitely the right character. That is Ryu. That is the embodiment of Ryu. The mild child. But I will say Beam was sweating a significant amount against actually I wouldn't say significant amount, right? He took down the Mika, right? Swan Song was the one that was actually sweating, pressing a lot of buttons on Wake Up, not be able to handle the heat, but switching over to the Ed was a lot better of a choice, right? Having that uppercut just in case was a significant factor. We've seen it land a handful of times, but just wasn't enough to stop the beam coming in. Look at that, again, playing as solid as ever. Making it all the way into top 8. Big congratulations, man. I didn't get to see a lot of his data from previous CPTs nor the World Warrior events, but coming in from pretty much under the radar into top 8 is a very significant feat that not a lot of players can do. So big ups to you, Beam, going into the top 8. We still have another match to go. Bashar going up against Talu. Bashar actually in probably the hardest spots to be in, right? Being the last game of the day after being being the first one first, like right off the top of the show, right? In the winner's side, falling short 0-2 against Angry Bird. He has to face off against Talu, who's been pretty ambitious himself with that Vega play too.
Yeah, he's been really great. I mean, Talu's been really great in terms of showcasing what the character can do in terms of the trades and working against the opponent. More than the player sometimes. We see the Sky High Claw come through. It's like, he would never. And then he does so. But those reads are what led him to victory. He still has to stay solid against this Ed player right here, Clashor, that we get to see more Ed, and just in general is fantastic. Matchup-wise, though, I'm very curious how this is going to go. Again, not one that we get to typically see. Lacking amount of Vegas, not lacking amount of Eds recently, I'll tell you that. But I'm curious to see if the EX bar is going to come into play against the fireballs that Ed might present. Also, too, as well, those normals, the medium punch that we see, the fiercest and things like that are clawed, at least for Vega, are fantastic for pokes. And Punk has shown that you don't have to do a lot with the character for victory.
You don't.
You really don't.
Yeah, that's not really like the MO for Vega, and it hasn't been for a very, very long time. I think there's a lot to be said about the range that Vega gets to play at. There's going to be a lot of a lot of victories that are like death by 1,000 cuts. I think that Vega kind of masters that mid-range game more often than not to build himself some meter. Then when you have that meter, that's where the damage starts to roll in. Right. So I want to see if that can be kind of exemplified from Talu. I want to see that a little bit more. But I don't mind the resets from the EX Sky High Claw also.
Yeah.
Being able to
great.
throw those in have been pretty effective. It got him to this part of the tournament, right? But from Bashar, I want to see a little bit more from the Ed. If he needs to pump the brakes a little bit and reconsider, I don't mind the Luke too. So we'll see how this plays out between the two. I didn't realize that Bashar was 41 years old. Man, he didn't look anything close to it, I will say.
That's kind of been what we've seen for a lot of these players. A lot of them are like above 20s, above 30s, it seems like. And it's kind of cool to see like there's a lot of older players that are still playing the game. You know, life hits you and you got kids, you got a job and stuff like that.
I got Street Fighter.
He got He said, I got Street Fighter at when I come home after 5 p.m., I got Street Fighter after work. So it's good to see that we have a lot of these older players that are still playing the game. Maybe some that have been from Street Fighter 4 or getting into Street Fighter 5 in the later years. Let's see, it's going to be later up in this bracket right here. The last one for that top 8 spot on the dot tomorrow. Vega versus Luke.
Yeah, that's going to be Talu going up against Bashar. Bashar representing Kuwait. Talu representing Saudi Arabia. The rolling crystal flash already. Up the bit confirmed. And I love that, coming in with a Luke instead.
Yeah, being able to challenge these 3-frame situations is really good. No anti right there.
He had time.
Ooh.
He definitely had time. Gets the command grab instead. Talu on the offensive again. Does the punish on the RCF.
Activation. Don't want to be in the corner as much as possible with this character. But that view reversal is so smart. Being able to find a punish on that. Few can do, but Vega can.
Yeah, I think any of the characters with V reversals or like movement V reversals can severely punish the thermobaric V trigger from Luke. So that's something Bashar needs to keep aware of. I think this is a very, a good deal for Vega being able to traverse that.
Now it's rocking. There's the fist right there. The 4 fierce, the Buster Claw to make a fall. And build some of that V-gauge too as well. But too far to enact that medium punch that she would like to challenge up in the neutral. It's the roll though.
Oof.
There's that anti you want to see.
Oh, that's a severe punish incoming. Decent amount of damage. No, just going for Oki. Missed the opportunity for the Oki. In fact, Bashar went immediately to wake up buttons.
That's challenge was for the reset, but that's what Bashar wants. EXTP, you caught up in the corner. You better finish your plate, and that would have led you out of the corner at least. But right now, you're holding defeat with that light.
Yeah, and I don't even know if like that was a button press from Talu or if it was like a jump. I didn't counter hit off of that, but still. Bashar putting himself on the board. Oh, that was sick. Getting a swipe away, crouching medium punch, counter hit, getting a full sequence right after that. That was pretty cool.
Outside the distance for that medium punch. Harassing with that claw addition. DP though to make a fall. Gives the activation again. Have to be careful. There's no V-bar at the bottom, so you can let that rock a little bit. But now you have to be careful. Probably more so in the corner than anything, but there's the Buster Claw. The 4 fierce to check some of these fireballs. And some of these normals.
Gets the big counter hit off the back medium punch. Gets a back up as well. Getting the side switch. Puts himself in the corner instead. Kiss from a rose. Talu, the one putting himself in the corner now. Bashar just needs a single hit. Oh, that could have been it. It's a critical art. This is opportunity. A lot of plus frames. Talu's just going to sit and hold this. Ooh. You thought it was your turn to press a button again. Bashar taking it game number 1. Talu actually had an opportunity to maybe get into Zuna drop and possibly take the round after that. But there were a couple of like mistakes that shouldn't have happened, I feel like, from the side of Talu. I mean, there was a couple of instances where he actually got a reset and, or actually got the damage, got the knockdown, and didn't get a meaty. That was like one of the big ones. And then also he just got run over in round number 2, or at least technically round number 3.
Whenever there's gaps, the 3-frame comes out, and that leads Oki for Luke and to continue that pressure over and over again to put him in the corner situation. And I like that he saw, okay, if he has no V-bar at the bottom, I can let those shots rock with the V-trigger. And these adjustments from Bashar have been really good. The only thing, though, I see at the end is the scramble situation from Bashar. I feel like that might be a tell to Talu to be like, okay, if he wants to close it out, he might get a little too scrambly. Even though Luke has really good ways to scramble, that's just a good read on the player, and we've seen how good he is at reading players and dealing with them in some of these situations.
See how it plays out. Currently, the score stands Bashar 1, Talu 0. But I will say there's a couple of things for Talu to clean up. It's still not going to be the end of the world. Bashar also utilizing the meter towards the end, although he didn't get that single hit confirm into like a critical arc, he still used it pretty well, putting himself in plus frame situations back to back to back to force the error against Telu, or at least break the opening, break the guard if need be. So I do like the understanding for the game plans of Bashar and Telu. I do like them fully understanding of the situation at hand. Their game sense is pretty up there, so
yeah,
I want to see it kind of come to fruition for Telu a little bit more. Maybe go down to the wire again, because we do see the potential here.
We do. Just have to be a little bit more solid on both sides of things. So, like him utilizing the mediums, like him utilizing the claw addition, just have to get that distance and get predictive against the fireballs. Don't be jumping, my friend. The DPs have been flying through from Bashir.
Oh. Trying to steal turns. Yo, Bashar getting a little bit overzealous on that one. Telu opting with the claw ender instead of the Azuna drop. Looking for... Yeah, you thought you could punish? No, sir. That is season 1.
Now it's my turn to party. That's it, Rog. 4 fears. 1 back to be punished. I mean, that's -10, and Luke has some of the best punishes in the game in terms of the free frames. Back throw. Heavy kick, B shift, goes for the break, says you better wait. Dash in right after, even though it's fake. You can see that Bashir just a little bit. Never mind, he's okay. B shift, no punish. Oh, but
no, he couldn't.
Target combo.
Yeah, he couldn't punish that. It was way too late.
Oh, active frames, okay.
No, I mean, yeah, it was just. I don't think you could normally like B shift that in that manner.
Bashir on set point. Interrupts the charge fears, puts him in the corner. I like these more clawed normals, outranging this character and getting the stun.
Are you going to spend it? He's going for the EX instead. He just get a meaty situation. Bashar in deep trouble. Oh! And he can turn around just like that. Yo, Bashar just needs like a sequence and a half, trying to get a throw bait first. Gets a throw instead against the V reversal. The V shift is there, the V break as well. That's going to be so tough. Telu is actually near death.
Bashar's got all the bar at the bottom. One hit.
Now.
Dash up throw. Catches the V shift off the low to the super. Bashar moving into top 8.
You let him have it. There's nothing else to really say about it. Bashar saw his opportunity, started to go for it, and Telu just let him have it. I think he could have woken up with critical art because Bashar was already a trigger. Bashar just needed 1 touch. It would have been pretty much a chip damage scenario, but Telu just so reluctant to do anything about it. Like, he could have gone maybe like off the wall on the other side, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The V shift got blown up. His defense got blown up. I'd have to look at it again.
The jumpers were flying for free too as well. I mean, it's hard for Vega in general, but like that's good for Bashar to be looking out for that option. Like, you're not gonna go for air throw. We don't only see like walk speed being utilized as an anti-air, on the ground, but just these corner pressure situations too, and the anti-airs just in general with the DPs like that. A-okay. Is that V-shift play? Yeah, as you're right. Couldn't get the punish.
It sucks that you can't get like a hit off of like critical art on the way up from Vega. So I totally understand why like the chip scenario wouldn't have happened like as much as I was like kind of talking about it. I think Bashar did a great job of kind of suppressing Talu's options defensively, making all the right reads. 3 to 4 touches in a row? He totally deserved it. He really did. So that's 2 games straight. That is our final candidate going into the top 8. Yo, well played all across the board. Yo, Telu as well. Looking forward to seeing your future in Street Fighter. Again, at the young age of 16, still has plenty more to prove for himself and the rest of the community. Representing, I believe, Saudi Arabia. Big ups to him for getting this far into the bracket. No easy feat, that's for sure. Just shy of top 8.
The biggest for everybody coming through in this top 16 spot, but let's get a look at the top 8 bracket for tomorrow. We have a lot of play coming through. Man, Angry Bird going up against Volcano Rosso, then Big Bird versus GTR, and the loser side, Bashar going up against Beam the Gamer, and then last but not least, Fandroid facing off against Lico. That rounds out your top 8 bracket that we're going to be seeing tomorrow.
Yeah, before we even get even closer to that, I do want to mention that we have something coming up real soon. That is Street Fighter Duel, the Capcom authorized mobile game. Currently available for download in China with a global version coming out real soon. The epic legend is reborn on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now and let's fight for each other and join the journey with millions of players to become the best fighter, which is exactly what we were looking for, the best fighter for each and every one of these regions at every single CPT imaginable.
That's right. CPT Asia East is coming up next week. Registration will be closed soon. Head on over to CapcomProTour.com for more information on how you, too, can compete and register for your region's events.
Yeah, we have plenty of regions to go through, right? Asia East actually didn't get their spotlight as intended because there was a little bit of an outage. So we do get to finally see that. I believe Ringe and Jake Ryan are the ones that are going to be taking control of that. You can see the tournament schedule. The registration is going to be closing real soon. You guys do not want to miss it, specifically for Asia East. But then afterwards, it's just Asia. And then towards the end of November, after taking a small break for a couple of weekends, we definitely need it because it's been back-to-back action. We have Europe East to round off the month of November. Really excited to see how this plays out because we're getting ever so close to the big dance-off, the Capcom Cup. But just in case you happen to be missing it a little bit, you know, Street Fighter League has been happening for these last couple of weeks. The U.S. is going to be having their event again on Friday, November 4th, 4 p.m. Pacific domestic time. It's Red Rooster versus Team CLG, then Endemic versus UYU. In case you guys have missed it, man, it's been nonstop. Even Brian F., Rob TV, they've been talking about it. Rob TV also being a part of it, he already knows what's going down. But the fact that we get to rewatch it or like watch it again this season has been so phenomenal. We get to see a lot of these players come back, and we get to see one particular player come back from the shadows, Knuckle Dew, part of Team Endemic. I'm really looking forward to seeing that team play, as well as Red Rooster with Ajax Fidelity, CLG, the Young Guns, doing really well for themselves, and UYU coming back to play after a very rough season. I want to see what happens with this team going forward. But there's so much more Street Fighter League going on.
Yeah.
St. Cole and I have been doing the Japanese version Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? Actually, Tuesdays and Fridays now, but we switch it up every so often. But opening the gates to Street Fighter League Europe, man, it's been phenomenal for the world of Street Fighter.
Absolutely no better time to be watching some Street Fighter action. And if you missed any of this action, well, guess what? After this break, we're going to have a fantastic recap coming to your way. Don't go anywhere when we return for this break.
Time to fight, time to fight. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand have turned to feast. So fight, time to fight. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are street fighters.
You call, I answer. Pushing you on the scene. Man, come on, I'm ready to go. Calculated. We do this all day, every day. Remix time. Woohoo! Here we go. Now, put me. Ninja, Star, Sniper. Make way for the Ninja Star. Time to play. You gonna keep me waiting, babe? Time to die! only one of us is allowed to do the killing. If I go too far, please forgive me.
My name is Seth.
Bow down for my cycle. It's time for trap.
Show me everything. Download.
This will do.
You can't escape.
We had just finished rounding out the Middle East for the Capcom Pro Tour. Our top 16 has been brought down to the top 8. Vicious here with St. Cola to talk to you about it and to see what we can expect for our top 8 tomorrow. For the most part, it's been pretty exciting. We've had a pretty decent representation of the Middle East, right? We just kind of talk about it a little bit. We got 4 from the United Arab Emirates. We had 4 from Kuwait, 3 from Turkey, 2 from Jordan. Then the final 3 members, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Oman. A good representation for the community. And again, pretty hard-fought battles all across the board, right? I think there was a lot of 2-0s from each and every one of the matchups. If we could take a look at the bracket specifically to let you guys know how the matches went down, a ton of donuts, right? That was one of the biggest things we were talking about. But there were certain, like a handful of matches where there was a lot of potential to see some of like the matches play out to the final round, right? More specifically, when we're looking at this top 16 winners, Big Bird versus Fandroid was definitely one of them in the Luke Mirror match. So there's a lot more to talk about within the matches themselves if you check out the VOD, other than the numbers you see.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the 2-0s do not tell the tale of tapes out here on this winner side, but also that, but also the loser side. Let's take a look at that too as well. So we move down a bit. A lot of these 2-0s came down to the wire too as well, and some just slight adjustments. Some of them a little bit more free than others, especially when Handful had fought JD Cooper with such a fantastic match. If you missed that, please go back to the VODs and watch that fantastic Kim play. However, there was a lot of like people on the same level, it felt like, in this top 16 bracket. Maybe a smaller bracket than we typically see from a lot of CPTs, but the skill level you can see is very, very much there. And I feel like having these CPT events, having these World Warrior events allows them to get stronger, gives them a reason to play, gives them a reason to shore up the things that they need to shore up and say, if I didn't make top 8, if I didn't make top 16, what do I need to do to get better? This may be the drive for a lot of them to get even hungrier and come back and compete to be even stronger. And they're not even done yet. We just said World Warrior event. They still have one more to go before the finale in December.
Yeah, and taking a look at the current roster for the loser side of top 8, a lot of these folks haven't even been to this top 8 scenario before. Even Bashar, who's actually had his performance from last season in CPT for the Middle East, he placed 25th. So this is a huge improvement, a huge jump. So he definitely should feel proud of himself. And then Beam the Gamer, Linku, and Fandroid as well. This is their first appearance in a top 8 scenario. As for what we could see, take a look at what it's going to look like from the winner side as well. For the actual, top 8 for tomorrow, we do have that bracket primed and ready for you. Let's switch it up a little bit. There we go. Angry Bird versus Volcano Russo is what you could expect for the first match. Then Big Bird versus GTR. Now, both these matchups are something that's not uncommon. I feel like this is going to be pretty much another day at the office for all 4 of these players as they've met up with each other in and out of the World Warrior events, right? I think Volcano Russo is pretty much a household name for the Middle East. GTR, pretty much the same way. And we obviously know the birds. Right?
Oh, yeah,
There's not
yeah.
a lot
We've seen them a
more
lot.
that we could really say about them because their gameplay has been speaking for themselves these last couple of years. Some of the best players we could ever ask for from the UAE on a world scale level. These guys have been putting in the work and have been like the front runners for the Middle East for such a long time.
For a long, long time. But I think that's going to give us some really good gameplay from that because you play these people over and over again. You have to have something different in your bag when you meet up with them. And again, having the Warrior tournaments month after month, you're showcasing some of your stuff, but I'm sure all these players are holding something for this top 8 because there's only one qualification seed for this, and you'd rather not go through the World Warrior tournaments again and fight over and again in the top 8 spot and stuff. You'd rather just make your W out here. So it's not only Angry Bird and Big Bird that you guys have to be looking for. GTR, Volcano Rosso up on the winner's side of things like that. But hey, Bashir could make it through. Beam could too. Fandroid, Linku, if they shore up what they've been doing wrong in their neutral.
Yeah, so the top 4, by the way, from the winner's side were literally the top 4 from last season. So we see a lot of the consistency there. And also you can see them within the top 3 ranks of the World Warriors. But yeah, you kind of hinted a little bit about the loser side too. Bashar versus Beam the Gamer, I'm really looking forward to because we're starting to see that potential. We had mentioned it earlier. Beam the Gamer has the fundamentals with the mild sauce too, with the Ryu play. Really, what more can you really say about, Ryu players? They do have it down pat. Bashar, we've seen his Luke play coming in too. I mean, there's a lot to be said about that, but also the switch up with Ed. We love to see the fact that he's gone from being the first and then the last and still making it out into top 8. That's like the hardest spot to even like play off against, right? Then, of course, down below, Fandroid going up against Linku. We saw the Luke even more so from the Fandroid. Linku, we're starting to see that damage output from the carrying that we also expect. So that's going to be a pretty big dance-off going into it.
That is going to be. I mean, Linku, when he gets that confidence in him, you can definitely see that they stay solid. They know how to keep the Karen play going on and just not be whipping in the buttons that would have got. Fandroid, however, almost made Big Bird drop when he had those confirmed just about 1 pixel away would have got him or kept him in the game, I should say. But Fandroid's one of those types that I feel like when he's on point, on duty, he's landing all the confirms, all the damage that Luke pumps out. You get to see the better side of that character, so that's going to be a fantastic matchup either which way you cut it. And all these games have been fantastic. We've seen a lot from this scene in terms of stylistic play, in terms of variety of the characters. We saw Zeku, we saw a lot of Eds. Yes, there's been a lot of Lukes, but some of these players also have secondaries, trietaries, and 4th characters, and who knows how many characters someone like Angry Bird plays. I've seen him play Ibuki. We saw Gil at the last World Warrior event. So
from GTR,
yeah. Well, I mean, also from sometimes we've seen it also from Angry Bird when they just play around with Big Bird. But no playing around out here. This is the top 8 spot. You want to qualify. You want to play as serious as possible. It's not about the points. It's about that last seat on the dot.
Yeah, you guys don't want to miss it. It's going to be pretty much at the same time tomorrow. First and foremost, we do want to thank everybody that's been participating for the CPT, especially from the Middle East. Everybody that's been viewing and tuning in for these last couple of months. Actually, this entire year for the final season of Street Fighter V. You already know we appreciate the heck out of you guys, but you guys do not want to miss it. We need to see that kind of support again tomorrow. For the most part, it's been myself, Vicious, here with St. Cola, that have been breaking down the top 16. You do not want to miss it. Again, I highly encourage you guys to get yourselves ready for this top 8 because it's going to be a banger. I guarantee it. In the meantime, everybody stay safe. Keep playing that Street Fighter V, and we'll see you for the next one. Peace.